And a very good morning to you, Grenada. Yeah, you, Grenada, and the rest of the world. Thank you very much for joining us for this week's edition of Sundays with George Grant. I am he. And today is the 8th day of December, 17 days to go before the big day. Bet you guys have been busy doing your shopping and planning and preparing your meals and all of that for the holiday season. Whatever, have a great time. It's a so-so morning here in Grenada. I say so-so because, yeah, we have a little sunshine out there. Just about 5 minutes ago, I was out there on the balcony taking a look around. We actually had a light drizzle here maybe about 10 minutes ago. But it doesn't look too bad. We don't know. Nevertheless, that's on the outside. But inside, sure hope that your heart is filled with peace and joy as we get into today's action. Okay, it's going to be quite a morning. We will begin this morning with the buzz. And yeah, little angels checked in this morning. We do have a reading for you from the Holy Scriptures. You'll hear from little angel in just a wee bit. As far as editorials are concerned, we do have the usual suspects. The Grenada Advocate, which is captioned, Need for Responsible Journalism. Boy, I'm hearing a lot of that these days, a lot of that. And the New Today is captioned, it's an admonition, it sounds to me, Scrap passports selling now. Yeah. So says the Grenada Today. I'm not going to say we don't have any interviews, because we do have an interview, but I've included it as a feature. I've just lumped everything under features this morning. At about 9:45, in about 43 minutes or so this morning, I expect to have my first and only guest in here this morning. It's going to be a quiet morning for Georgie Porgy. Yes, sir, it's going to be quiet, very quiet. Her name is Rolanda McQueen. If that name sounds familiar, it should. She is the Chief Executive Officer of Mount Pure Water. Yeah. She is coming in here this morning because she is at odds again, this time with the Grenada Tourism Authority. We're going to find out what that's all about this morning. That's one. You see that long list of things there this morning? If you find me a little bit rushed, it's because I want to try and make sure that I get everything in. Some of the pieces are rather short, but still want to make sure we're on time. Don't want to keep you past your lunchtime, okay? So, Rolanda McQueen's going to be in here in a few minutes. Then, the next piece is captioned, Pure Grenada being overrun by derelicts. Authorities doing nada. Folks, I keep seeing them, and pictures are being sent to me of the wanton destruction of our landscape. You know, you have an old vehicle. You might have to dispose of it. Okay, but please, why do you have to dispose of it in plain sight, on the side of the road, everywhere? A few months ago, we took a look at the East Coast. A few weeks ago, we took a look at the West Coast. And yeah, well, I'll tell you, it continues. It continues. And the piece I'm going to present this morning, I had the help of the Grenada Green Group, two very good friends, Blakie and Mandoo Seals. They took me on both of those tours that I just mentioned. And we're going to be doing some more stuff as well. Then, elections in Dominica. Whew. Come and gone. Wow, that was a close call. PM Roosevelt SKERRIT'S post-election address. I think it must have been about 9 o'clock or so on Friday night. The PM delivered his first address during his new term as the Prime Minister of Dominica. It's about 15 minutes long, and we're gonna share that with you. As always, interesting content in there. Okay? Then, one day this week, on Good Day Grenada, I had promised you that I was gonna run a video which the government of Grenada had put out. Earlier in the week, they had issued a statement denying the sale of diplomatic passports. One, it was a written statement, and then they came out with an oral statement, an audio statement, and then they came out with one of the most beautiful, beautiful videos of this country that you have ever seen. And I thought, let me share that with our friends on Good Day Grenada. Well, you know Georgie Porgy, true confession, he messed up. He forgot to program it into his little thingy here, and therefore when he went, whoop, there was nothing there. So I'm gonna run that by you this morning, and you have to admit, you have to admit, it's a beautiful video. Very well done. Then, there's another piece that we're gonna run from the GIS this morning. It's captioned, Grenadian government threatens to sue Al Jazeera. Yeah, man. This piece was actually included in their national report one day this week. And for those of you who can't join us on weekdays, I thought, let me run that by the Pilgrims this morning, okay? It includes a few comments made by Senator Simon Steil, who's the leader of government business in the Senate. But that's not all. We have another piece. Anti-corruption march staged by the Office of Integrity Commission. Okay, not much I can say about that except that you're going to hear the voice of somebody from civil society who's he doesn't buy this Integrity Commission fighting corruption at all. And you're also going to see a lot of placards. I thought it would be really important. You know, sometimes you watch the television news when there's a protest march going on, and just glancing, you see the writings on those placards. Well, I thought, let me take my little device here and go on down and get some close-ups, so you'll actually be able to read some of the comments. Comments were made by a lot of the school children who were participating in the march, and others by the protesters, okay? So you'll be seeing that this morning. Then, I have another interesting piece for you. And I worked pretty darn hard all day yesterday to put this thing together. A good friend of ours by the name of Valerie Thompson. Apparently, an aunt of hers died recently. And Valerie must have come across this poem that this lady wrote some time ago. And said to me, you know, George, I want to share this with the people. And I'd like you to record it. So she came in here one day this past week and we recorded this thing. And I thought, you know, rather than just a recording of Valerie reading this poem, why don't I try and put a little video together? And so I'm not going to tell you the whole story. We are going to have a very close look at that this morning, which I think you'll find very interesting. Look at the pictures and compare them to the comments that Valerie is making. I think you'll find them very deep. And finally, this morning, Brian's Friday morning pit stop. Did I say this Friday morning? No, it's not Friday morning, it's Sunday morning. Hello, George. But the piece you're about to see is actually an excerpt from Friday morning's edition of Good Day Grenada. Okay? So, Brian, vocal as always, vocal as always. All right, enough enough chit-chat here. Let's get down to brass tacks. Oswin's first up this morning. Congratulations, Oswin. You guys are taking turns. Nice to see. Ernesto is there. Hazel is there. Claude Pudna is wishing you guys a happy Sunday. Sherry Wilson saying good morning. Our good friend Anthea, girl. I'm seeing a lot of you these days, Anthea. Very nice. T.F. Richards saying good morning from the Lone Star State. On the road again, ATF. John Franco is saying good morning. Sharon Elizabeth Roberts. Hello there, Sharon. She's watching and listening. Well, it's nice to know that you're doing both, Sharon. I guess your back's getting better. She sends love and light to every one of us. Peter Belfont saying, grant me a favor by saying a special hello to those who are early for lessons. For those who are early for lessons this morning. Well, hello to those of you who are early for lessons this morning from Peter Belfont. Got a couple of Pedros here. Peter Belfont, Peter Bishop. Tony Ben saying good morning to you guys. Kipling Francis is wishing everybody a happy Sunday and sending his blessings. Joan Wellington, good morning. Every blessings to all, and let's do unto others as we would like them to do unto us. Good girl. Thank you for bringing that up. It's very important. I hope they don't forget that, Joan. Mr. Darbo is with us early this morning. Didn't go to church, Pele? Anyhow, nice to see you. Sean Notap is obviously on the rebound, and he's sending his blessings to everybody this morning. Sonia McKay John is saying good morning, Georges. Georges? Am I now the town of St. George? Nah, town of St. George's? No. But thank you very much, Sonia. Bob Marichaux saying good morning, class. Hi, Bob. Peter Belfont is saying hi to Bob Marichaux. John Noseyneck is saying good morning to everyone at Sunday school. So that's what you call us now, eh? Sunday school. Erica Mitchell is saying happy Sunday to all. Have a safe and enjoyable Christmas season. Thank you, Erica. Got your sorrel ready? Ginger beer? Eggnog? Boy, do I can't tell you the last time I have had eggnog. See if I can con somebody into making some of that for me this season. Charmaine DeLille is sending her blessings, and Bernard Gilbert is saying good morning to you guys. Isaac is saying good day, George, and a very pleasant week to all. Pleased to get this page, which allows me to meet and greet all. Take full advantage of it, Isaac. Anthony Howard is saying, oh, so you're in town now, eh? Anthony Howard is saying good morning from beautiful Grenada. And he says he's looking forward to a wonderful day on the Spice. I wonder if he's actually here or if I see 2 cruise ships out there this morning, both at the Melville Street terminal, so maybe he's on one of them, I don't know. Roger Mitchell is saying good morning, Grenada. Yeah, so there you have it. There go your early morning salutations on the December 8th edition of Sundays with George Grant. Now, let's take a quick little break here, and we'll come on back and get cranked up with the buzz.
GrenLec continues to celebrate 25 years of partnership and growth. So this December, we're giving every customer the chance to spin and win. Just pay your bill in full on or before December 18th. Then, on Wednesday, December 18th, join us at any GrenLec customer care location. Spin to win giveaways that will make this season even more festive. Hams, groceries, gift vouchers, wine, electricity vouchers, and more. Join the celebration. December 18th, spin and win with GrenLec. Visit our website or Facebook page for more information. Terms and conditions apply.
Why wish upon a star? For bank is better by far. Whatever you're wishing for this Christmas, will give you low interest and no fuss.
Co-op Bank is making Christmas wishes come true. Fix up your home, treat your loved ones, and get everything on your Christmas list this year with our no-fuss loans. As we count down the 12 days to Christmas, you can win awesome prizes every day. Special terms and conditions apply.
Christmas wishes come true with Co-op Bank and you.
Welcome home.
Alrighty, folks, here she is. A tease, that's what you are, Penny. Penny's our good friend out there in the Laurentian Mountains, Saint-Sauveur, I think it is, yeah. Penny says, I have eggnog. Well, whoop-de-doo. Send some, please. No, actually, I'm gonna be realistic. You guys probably need more eggnog than I do down here. Yes, we had some drizzle this morning, but compared to the cold temperatures you guys are having up, keep your eggnog, Penny. I'll understand. No hard feelings. Michael Alexander saying good morning, Gigi and class, and a happy Sunday to everyone. It's nice to see you, Michael. Oh, okay, yes. Anthony Howard says, yes, I'm on the Celebrity Silhouette. Yeah, that's the biggie in there this morning. Ah, okay. Boy, I tell you, when I grew up, this man's always on the go. Always on the go, he and his lovely wife. I'm assuming that you're with your wife this morning. No? Don't make assumptions, George. All right, pilgrims, let's get down to brass tacks. We go to the buzz, and we begin with an opening scripture. Hear this. You have heard it was said to the people long ago, you shall not murder, and anyone who murders will be subject to judgment. But I'll tell you, anyone who is angry with a brother or sister will be subject to judgment. Again, anyone who says to a brother or a sister, Raka, is answerable to the court. And anyone who says, you fool, will be in danger of the fire of hell. Therefore, if you're offering your gift at the altar, and there you remember that your brother or sister has something against you, leave your gift right there in front of the altar. First, go and be reconciled to them. Then, come and offer your gift. Settle matters quickly with your adversary who is taking you to court. Do it while you're still together on the way, or your adversary may hand you over to the judge, and the judge may hand you over to the officer, and you may be thrown into prison. Truly, I tell you, you will not get out until you have paid the last penny. Matthew 5, verses 21 to 25. Another reading coming your way just as we're about to pull the plug come high noon this morning. Now, we turn to Little Angel. Yes, Little Angel. Little Angel was very, very brief this weekend, but still, pleasure seeing you, my friend. Her piece today is captioned, Treating with the Truth. Some people accept what is true and try to live by it, no matter how hard. Others deny it, and still others try to distort it. The truth will always be the truth, no matter how many times election results may conclude that a candidate is a winner or a loser. No amount of support for or against candidates will change the facts about them, their values, interests, choices, intentions, characters, and personalities. Behaviors may change, but personalities are not easily altered. And that's according to Dr. Michelle Leno, who's a DML Psychological Services PLC person. Whether man or woman, human beings can only be themselves. If the election results in Dominica accurately demonstrate the will of the people, then The question is no longer what is true, but how it is being used when it is told. Okay? Yes. There we go. Folks, that's your little piece this morning from our friend out there, Little Angel. Okay, quick little break. Hold on a sec here before I go to the break. Let me get back to social media. Michael Alexander, I think we said hi. Yeah, Anthony Howard. T.F. Richard says, George, I'm actually having a glass of eggnog now. Oh, you guys are going to be so teasy this morning, huh? Keep your eyes on the road, TF. Keep your eyes on the road. Chester Simon saying good morning. Anthony Howard says, yes, George, I don't normally travel without my wife. Good to know. Good to know. That's what we would do if you did. Say hi to her for me. Maria St. Bernard saying good morning, Mr. Grant and fellow listeners. A pleasant Sunday to all. Arthur Langine is saying good morning from cold Brooklyn. Davini Leo says, pleasant Sunday to SGG in class. My notebook was out long before you came on the air. In revision of today's class, looking forward for another opportunity to learn. Boy, am I ever. I'm looking forward to an opportunity too. I can't wait to hear what you guys have to say. You think I just sit here to talk? All ears. Even though I got these two little things plugged in here, all ears, all ears. This is where I learn. John Franco says, I like Matthew 6, verse 6. Okay, don't have the time to take a look at that right now, but I certainly will. Claude Putnam saying, thanks for that scripture this morning. Well, you're very welcome, Claude. I was amazed when I found out how many people really pay attention to the scriptures we read. Not surprised, just amazed at how many of you. Thank you so much. Good for you. Jackie O is saying, good morning, happy crisp Sunday. Okay, as long as you have sunshine, Jackie O. Ernesto is saying, good morning, George and families. It's a very cold morning in New York, and I want to say congratulations to the PM and the people of Dominica on their election's victory. While he urges the nation and churches to pray for the healing together, beginning at 10 a.m. Yeah, 10 a.m. this morning. And Lydia James is saying good morning to all. Okie doke. Folks, I think that's it as far as the howdies go for the time being. Let's take another little break here. Come on back.
Juve chocolates, cocoa nibs, and cocoa balls from Diamond Estate Grenada are now available at Amazon.com, Amazon.ca, Amazon.co.uk, and GrenadaMarket.com. Try their sensational touch of nutmeg and a touch of ginger chocolates, 75% dark and rich, 100% pure cocoa, and their 60% dark and sweet chocolate bars today. Amazon Prime members enjoy free shipping on these orders in the USA, Canada, and Europe. GrenadaMarket.com. When you can't come to the island, the products of the island will come to you.
Can I have a chicken lunch, please? Large.
Real nice today.
I don't want that.
But you just asked for a chicken lunch.
I don't have problem with the lunch. Afraid the container.
What is the problem with it?
These styrofoam containers, they don't good for the environment. They shorten with life.
What foolishness you telling me? So what you want me to use?
Put my food in this. Where you get that? At the food fair, where you could get all biodegradable food boxes and disposable food supplies like cups, plates, anything you could think about. Name it, it's there. And they don't harm the environment. Food fair, taking the lead in cleaning up and protecting the environment. Like you take me advice, you get in your biodegradable food supplies,
Well, girl, I supporting who supporting the environment. That is why I shop in at food fair.
Food fair, where you can fill your baskets without emptying your pockets. Products distributed by Hubbard's agency, Kirani James Boulevard.
Why wish upon a star? For a bank is better by far. Whatever you're wishing for this Christmas will give you low interest and no fuss.
Co-op Bank is making Christmas wishes come true. Fix up your home, treat your loved ones, and get everything on your Christmas list this year with our no-fuss loans. As we count down the 12 days to Christmas, you can win awesome prizes every day. Special terms and conditions apply.
Christmas wishes come true with Co-op Bank and you.
All right, folks, let's see here, 26 minutes after the hour. Wow, running. Seems like somebody has chosen Sunday morning to do some repairs somewhere in the neighborhood out here, hearing a lot of pounding out there. By the way, Jackie O, hello there. Hold on a sec here, Jackie O. Yeah, Jackie O says no, just 31 degrees here in D.C. I guess that's 31 degrees Fahrenheit, eh? It couldn't be 31 degrees Celsius. Anyway, Wayne Francis saying good morning, and so is Carlene Vespri. Peter Balfon says, good, better, best. Never rest until our good is better and our best. I learned this in primary school when I was 7 years old, and now I'm 59. You're still a kid, youngster. Pilgrims, here comes your first of two editorials this morning, and we get started with the Grenada Advocate, which is captioned, Need for Responsible Journalism. The media strives to inform, educate the public, and address matters of public interest. Far too often, local and international media practitioners practice an additional doctrine, that of sensationalism, to remain relevant and to keep the audience tuning in for the next installment. Having to fill print space, airtime, or broadband content is no easy feat. And the more exciting the news, the more it guarantees continued patronage. This is even more apparent in the age of social media, as shrinking attention to traditional news may make traditional media outlets feel that they have to keep pace by any means necessary with social media. The downside to that is a level of inaccuracy recorded in a rush to scoop the competition, and the feeling impressed on the average person that the world has gone mad with the latest episode of shootings, beheadings, killings, rampaging, etc. The occurrences on the day must be reported faithfully and accurately. No doubt about that. But if the negative events are the ones highlighted or repeated ad nauseum, forsaking actual positive events that have occurred, a distinct bias is created towards the observer becoming more disillusioned with the state of world affairs. And when the narrative is being shaped and molded by the very news entities that should retain their credibility, observers realize that in journalism, some do not match the level of responsibility expected of the profession. It is incumbent, then, for the media to shine its spotlight on the good in equal measure as it does the negative, and by that token, truly reflect what is happening in the country and provide a balanced view. More than that, that type of heartening news cycle can help to inspire future humanitarians into doing the good that can be done. If we in the media hope to show that we truly care about our communities and nations, we must do so in a way that not only educates, but inspires our audience to be the change we all want to see. We must not let cynicism blind us to the real moments of humanity rising to its best. Yes, even in the face of the rise of citizen journalism, due to the proliferation of personal opinions captured by the internet age, where tweets, blogs, posts, and emails are changing reporting in a way that has never been seen before. More than ever, the media should not pander to the lowest denominator to sate the public, I beg your pardon. News outlets must show they are responsible for shaping public opinion and are needed to separate fiction from fact. It has been a challenging year to date, and some violent situations have left us aghast. Those must be focused on and perpetrators brought to justice as soon as possible. However, there are positive people who are making a difference in our society, whose heartwarming campaigns and work should be commented on and highlighted. Media practitioners must practice a responsible journalism that is a benchmark of which the profession is measured and judged. We would do well to give equal time to the thousands of people locally and worldwide making an inspiring difference. There you have it, folks. That's the editorial which appeared on Wednesday in the Grenada Advocate. Time's now moved on to 9:33, and just a wee bit, we're going to take a look at what the New Today has to say this week. Ernesto Jose says, "Great piece, little angel. Keep writing. You're making a difference in others' lives." Hey, thanks for recognizing that, Ernesto. Lawrence Kruthoff says he's watching and listening in Grand Bra. Elaine Buddy Hosford saying good morning to you guys. And there he is. Okay, Lou, don't try that. Our friend, Lou says, "Good morning, George." And then he types something here. I'm not sure, but I think I could be wrong. I think he's in Croatia, right? And he's typed something in some funny language here. "Lou, you know darn well I don't know what you're saying there, so please translate." Jeez. Good to see you anyway, buddy. Good to see you. Good to see you. All right, folks, another quick break, and then we'll come back with the New Today.
GrenLec continues to celebrate 25 years of partnership and growth. So this December, we're giving every customer the chance to spin and win. Just pay your bill in full on or before December 18th. Then, on Wednesday, December 18th, join us at any GrenLec customer care location. Spin to win giveaways that will make this season even more festive. Hams, groceries, gift vouchers, wine, electricity vouchers, and more. Join the celebration. December 18th, spin and win with GrenLec. Visit our website or Facebook page for more information. Terms and conditions apply.
Why wish upon a star? For bank is better by far. Whatever you're wishing for this Christmas, will give you low interest and no fuss.
Co-op Bank is making Christmas wishes come true. Fix up your home, treat your loved ones, and get everything on your Christmas list this year with our no-fuss loans. As we count down the 12 days to Christmas, you can win awesome prizes every day. Special terms and conditions apply.
Christmas wishes come true with Co-op Bank and you.
Welcome home.
Can I have a chicken lunch, please? Large.
Real nice today.
I don't want that.
But you just asked for a chicken lunch.
I don't have problem with the lunch. Afraid the container.
What is the problem with it?
These styrofoam containers, they don't good for the environment. They shorten with life.
What foolishness you telling me? So what you want me to use?
Put my food in this. Where you get that? At the food fair, where you could get all biodegradable food boxes and disposable food supplies like cups, plates, anything you could think about. Name it, it's there. And they don't harm the environment. Food fair, taking the lead in cleaning up and protecting the environment. Hey, like you take me advice, you get in your biodegradable food supplies.
Well, girl, I supporting who's supporting the environment. That is why I shop in that food fair.
Food fair, where you can fill your baskets without emptying your pockets. Products distributed by Hubbard's agency, Kirani James Boulevard.
Alrighty, folks. Yes. Now, let's turn to the editorial from the New Today. It is captioned, by the way, this was published on Friday. It's captioned, Scrap Passports Selling Now. Get it? The New Today is calling for a comprehensive audit into the passport selling scheme known as citizenship by investment, in light of certain revelations coming out from the failed shrimp farm project in Victoria, St. Mark. It is clear to us that only a few persons in the country who are eating a food and benefiting big financially from the CBI money, and not the greater population from the millions that are passing through the program. The people of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petty Martinique need the Keith Mitchell-led government to give a proper and detailed account to them of all the millions that were received and spent from the sale of our passports. The fact of the matter is that Grenadians are not aware of the exact number of projects that were given CBI approval status by the current controllers in office. It is the understanding of this newspaper that there were 57 applications for passports by foreigners to make the shrimp farm project in Victoria a reality. The applications were required to spend, the applicants were required to spend $325,000 US for each passport. 275,000 of those going to the developer for the project, and 50,000 directly to the coffers of the government. A calculation of the figures will show that the net proceeds from the sale of 57 passports for the shrimp farm project was $50.3 million EC dollars. The foreign developer was entitled to $43 million of this money from the sale of our passports. The New Today spoke with one of the persons closely involved in the project, and he informed us that he could have set up the project for $8.1 million EC dollars to get it up and running. It is our understanding that any money left over after the project is established belongs to the developer and not the government and people of Grenada. The math will show that the developer would have been allowed to keep for himself about 35 million EC dollars if the shrimp farm was set up at a cost of 8.1 million EC dollars. This is madness with our nation's money. The Mitchell-led government must be told in no uncertain manner that this kind of business with the proceeds from the sale of our passports is unfair to the people of Grenada, when it is well known that our healthcare system is in serious trouble and crisis. Our hospital facilities are in dire need of even basic medical supplies, while passport sellers, who are mainly foreigners, are allowed to walk away with millions in profits from the assets that belong to the people. They are clearly fleecing the nation. The New Today is calling for a stop to this untenable situation in which a few hundred jobs are created for locals, but the real profits from our passports are being creamed away by so-called foreign investors. It is quite possible that some of the profits made by these foreign people from selling our passports are used elsewhere to develop other projects. And the agony of the situation is that our government has allowed these so-called foreign developers to collect the money and deposit millions in banks in foreign jurisdictions, especially in the Middle East, like Dubai. The New Today is sure that most Grenadians are in the total dark about who really collects and utilizes the millions from the sale of their passports. Again, these so-called foreign developers are getting the interest from the money derived from the sale of our passports that are placed in foreign banks. Another vexing issue is the failure of the Metro government to inform the nation as to what it does with its portion of the monies collected from the sale of each Grenadian passport through the CBI program. The government stood to benefit by 7.7 million EC dollars from the sale of 57 passports associated with the failed shrimp farm project. Was any of this money used specifically in the health sector or for our overall development? The people have a right to know who is walking around with Grenadian passports that were obtained from this abandoned project. And even more importantly, why did the project fail when passports were sold and monies were collected by both government and the foreign developer? Is it true that the developer was ready to go ahead with the shrimp farm project, but the government did not make available or hand over the lands at Victoria for the project? If so, why? It is quite possible that over 1 billion EC dollars in passport sales might have already taken place since the NNP reintroduced the program that was halted during the 1999 to 2003 period. Are we better off as a country with the monies that were collected from selling our passports? The sale of our passports and the money derived thereof are weighed heavily in favor of the so-called foreign developers. And that must stop, as it is not in the national interest and development of the state of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique. Okay, folks, okay. Quick glance here back at, and guys, even before I read these, I'm asking you, I see you're publishing a lot of long stuff there. Please, don't agitate me this morning by pressing the enter key without checking what you have printed. You're just going to be ignored, okay? So, let's get back here. Ooh, you guys have been busy. Peter Belfont says, I just want to thank your sponsors for enabling us to chit-chat with you and our friends from time to time. Thank you, Peter. I thank them every day of my life, boy, and I sure wish I had a few more. T.F. Richards says, George, after listening to the first editorial, is it safe to perceive that journalism now is done for and controlled by the dollar? TF, it has been for a long time, my friend. Ryan Jabon says, farmed shrimp is dangerous for your health. Don't eat it, okay? Dave Bertrand is saying good morning. John Franco is saying, who is the developer? Gonna have to do a little homework, Franco. Gemma Monica Hunt is saying, this is a dotish government here in Grenada. Ryan says, yes, Grenada must stop CBI and passport sales now. It is skullduggery. Just learned how you spelled skullduggery. John Franco is asking, is that not called money laundering? I've heard that question before, John. Peter Belfont says, George, it is all well and good to have ambitious plans, but when you cannot see a feather nor an egg and the shrimp in the pond, then the police and the psychiatric doctors should begin their task immediately with the help of Interpol, I suggest. Sean says, George, the very concept of shrimp farm or fish farm is environmentally speaking a fairy tale science. The truth is, they are at best a protein exchange that is not efficient and produce a toxic outfall by bacteria and viral infections. Be pleased that it did not happen. Somebody's looking out for us, Sean. Dave Bertrand says, those agents of foreign investors have already profited from the sale of Dominican passports. T.F. Richards says, you know, whether we are in agreement or not, an elected government represents the mentality and perceptions of its people. As such, we have to think wisely when using the index finger. According to the saying, look at where you are. Look at where we are today. Okay. Ernesto says, after the NDC Morning News conference, the media was in uproar with comments made by the ex-PM Uncle Telly concerning eat a food. And some may eat poison just now. I strongly support the ex-PM because the media failed to do their jobs, especially when it comes to this administration. Every news conference is treated like an after-work party with a few booze involved. Peter Belfont says, George, when you get a token of appreciation, are you expected to be accountable to others? Sonia McKee John says, what's new in Grenada? Under Keith. And Agatha Jordan says, good morning, George, just tuned in after Mass. Well, Agatha, I certainly hope you put in a good word for your little boy here this morning. We need it all. Okie doke, folks. Let's take another little break here. And we shall return with our first guest.
Juve chocolates, cocoa nibs, and cocoa balls from Diamond Estate, Grenada are now available at Amazon.com, Amazon.ca, Amazon.co.uk, and GrenadaMarket.com. Try their sensational touch of nutmeg and a touch of ginger chocolates, 75% dark and rich, 100% pure cocoa, and their 60% dark and sweet chocolate bars today. Amazon Prime members enjoy free shipping on these orders in the USA, Canada, and Europe. GrenadaMarket.com. When you can't come to the island, the products of the island will come to you.
Because your vehicle is a necessity, being roadworthy is critical. Hubbard's Motor Department introduces its new tire and battery sales and service outlet located at Building Supplies Compound in Grand Dance, close to the Sugar Mill Roundabout. Available are a wide range of competitively priced tires, maintenance-free batteries, oils and lubricants. Keeping in mind your busy schedule, this outlet is equipped to provide you with fast and reliable service. Simply drive in and you'll be delighted with your service experience. For more information, contact 440-2087. Hubbard's, quality service, affordable prices.
Juve chocolates, cocoa nibs, and cocoa balls from Diamond Estate Grenada are now available at Amazon.com, Amazon.ca, Amazon.co.uk, and GrenadaMarket.com. Try the sensational touch of nutmeg and a touch of ginger chocolates, 75% dark and rich, 100% pure cocoa, and their 60% dark and sweet chocolate bars today. Amazon Prime members enjoy free shipping on these orders in the USA, Canada, and Europe. GrenadaMarket.com. When you can't come to the island, the products of the island will come to you.
Alrighty, folks, here she is, Rolanda McQueen, Chief Executive Officer of Mount Pure Water. Say good morning.
Good morning, listeners.
How are you this morning?
Very well, thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you for having us on.
You've been with us before.
Yes, I've been with you before when I just purchased the water. But since we've won the international best water tasting competition, we haven't been back.
I want to talk about that, because up to this week I've been enjoying your mineral water, and I'm bonkers about it. I really, really like the water, okay? I can't afford Perrier. Okay.
We are better than Perrier.
So, yeah, you mentioned the award you won. First of all, how is Mount Pure doing?
At the moment, our demand is more than we can.
Really?
Yes, we can give. We've had international interest.
Okay.
St. Vincent wanting some for their 5-star hotels, and we can't at the moment. We've been trying to get some to them since last month. We are now selling in England.
I was just going to ask you, are you exporting this stuff?
My main interest is Grenadian first. And if we have any extra, we're going to give to our friends across the pond. But my main interest is Grenada, because it's come from an aquifer. So we have had lots of people from outside wanting to invest to get more of the water. But because we do, there is a water crisis in the Caribbean at the moment, and we do not know how much our aquifer holds.
There's a water crisis?
There is a huge water crisis that no one is speaking about. The biggest threat for the Caribbean people is water.
That's not just the Caribbean, I understand. Despite all the ocean that we have around the world.
Yeah. And we will not appreciate, so that's the reason why I'm on a campaign that we have to save our aquifers and springs. When you see what's happening to Martinique with their soil being destroyed, and we in Grenada having a water that can go up for an international water competition, the Oscars of water, and come back here with a bronze medal with the heavyweight countries. I was quite surprised that we didn't make more song and dance about it, because most people here say water is water, but when 75% of your body is water, you can no longer say water is water. And I always go back to when I was growing up as a child and living in the countryside, and we had to walk miles to get good clean water, and your parents would be able to tell you if it was heavy, if they will know exactly where you got it from. They had springs they would go to, and now we have in water coming in, we have no clue where it's coming from, and people will say, oh, water is water. But all the acidic food we are eating, if we drink water that is acidic as well, that's where our body collapses. It can't, because we're not giving it the nutrients, the minerals that it needs. And then I hear lots of people saying, it's very difficult sometimes to argue with people that says, oh, well, we have this machine where we get, we cleanse it, but then you're cleaning the mineral away. Because, so no use to say, well, I have this machine that make alkaline water and all this artificial stuff. In Grenada, we are lucky to have this water. We know the source has been there for well over 100 years. I remember growing up and my aunt, who is 90, saying to me now, as a child, they used to walk from Munich to go up to Bylands because they used to call it mommy water.
With a pail of water on your head?
No, mommy water is it's back from Africa.
Okay.
When the water, because they believe the water is life. So if somebody was ill, they would take them to that spring and bathe them or let it drink the water because they believed that it had healing powers. Now with science, we realize it wasn't magic, it was the minerals that was in the water that got them better, and I was lucky to get hold of the aquifer, and as I want to make myself a promise, we're not going to interfere with it. We're not, because people are wanting us to get lots of it out and export it, but I'm not going to do that.
Okay. You mentioned a little while ago, it seems like we don't seem to have an appreciation for what we have. But I hate to break the news to you, but it's not just water, There are a lot of things we have in this place that we really don't appreciate.
Because I also do there is just so many opportunities in this island. And I don't think it's because people do not know what we've got. They haven't got an avenue to put it outside. I went to exhibition that Richard Branson was doing, small business, doing business with big business. And we was one of the first runner-up. But at the same time, it takes money. And I was speaking to, I think the Grenada Development Bank, I was speaking to somebody and we was talking about loans. And they said to start a business, they will give you between $10,000 and $25,000 to start a business. Between $20,000 and $25,000, you cannot do anything. You have to import everything. And if I didn't have that financial backing behind me, I would have gone. I had to bring in lots of people from Cuban to help train my staff, and they are willing to work hard. I have a great team around me, but I could not have done it. Montpellier would not have been where it is now if I didn't bring in international people to help us build the brand. So
that's a reality. It's a very sad reality, but nonetheless, it is. You should see the quantity of Cubans who live
thank God.
along the street here.
Yes, thank God for the Cubans, because I have about 8 Cubans working with me. And
out of a staff of how many?
We have about 35.
35?
Yes, 35, 38, yeah.
Okay.
And the Cubans plays the major part. And they work hard. One of the things is, when I say we have to work to meet the demand, the Cuban would work right through. I respect religion, but Grenadians, they will not work if they have to go to church. They will not do, and the mindset has to change. They say at Montpellier we respect everyone's religion. But growing up in England and spending most of my life there, you were so grateful for a job. I think you just have to pray by yourself, because when time to go to work, your boss do not ask you what religion you are. Yeah. It does not come into it. It's either you could come into work on a Saturday or you can't. I don't think my boss ever knew what religion I was. They're not interested. And we have to come here, we have to start thinking like that, because if not, all our businesses, people are coming in from the outside, like I have come in, and it's a good thing I'm Grenadian, coming from outside, take a business that was bankrupted to doing millions now in less than 2 years. So it's not easy. I would never turn around and say it is easy, but I think Grenadians, a lot of people think, because I had some problem, and I don't know if you heard, I had some problem with Spice Mask, which I took it here. People think you have to wait your turn. Most people's problem was wait your turn. You just come, wait your turn. Every time You have
While
to do.
those ahead of you squander their time.
Yes.
You just keep waiting.
Yes.
And waiting. Yeah. Go
You
ahead.
know, most of them say, wait your time. Why are you pushing? Who do you think you are? We have to push. If we don't push, there are people coming in from foreign country and seeing what we've got, and they are buying out. When we look at our bread basket, our agriculture land, people are coming in, and we are going to go back and work for these people, right? And I know one young guy that told me he's making $4 million US a year from Grenada soursop, and he's not a Grenadian. I cannot blame him. He came, he saw an opportunity, and he took it. That's what business is all about. But we have to open our eyes. I could have turned around and said, you know, I've made my money already. I'm not coming here I took early retirement. But I saw an opportunity where I could give my people, because we are good people. You know, we are loving people, but, you know, I hope it don't sound political, because I try to keep away from that. But Grenadians, a lot of us feel victimized, are scared. One of the biggest hurdle I have was getting my staff to make decisions. Mr. Grant, they are scared of making decisions. In case they make the wrong decision, they will lose their job. So that keep business down. I had one young man that we had a new bus, and something went wrong, and the bus was a write-off. And he was so scared that I didn't get rid of him. And he's one of my best workers. I said, no, let us pull together. You have made a mistake, and let us fix it. But to get a Grenadian to make a decision, they are petrified. Because someone said to me, Miss McQueen, my mortgage is tied to my decision.
Yes.
You know, so at Montpellier, we are trying to get rid of all that bad feeling. I do not care what political party you support. I have people walking in my office with NNP cap. I have people walking with NDC cap. It is, the atmosphere where we work is just so good, you know, because I realize people are scared of saying, even now there are still some that was be scared to say, oh, I support this party, or I support that party, which I cannot understand. One of the big joke was, I said, do they have an exit vote when, you know, you have an election? And someone said to me, Miss McQueen, Grenadian don't tell you who they vote for. They listen to you, and they will go with whichever side they think you are leaning on. And I hope in Montpellier we can make Grenadians realize it doesn't matter. It's all about country. Because people go on and the new one come back. We cannot have a new generation that is scared. Because you know, I can say it because I've experienced it. And that is the reason why. Not because they're not bright, but the people here are not allowed to make decisions. So if I come to you and you've gone away for 6 months, I would tell, I have to wait so you could come back for 6 months before somebody could make a decision. And that drives me crazy. And that is the reason why I went into the Spiceman's office and I said, no, I need a decision now. That's the reason why I went to court and I said, no, I am not going to wait. Because what your speed depends on who is chasing after you. I do not know who is chasing after me. We're in business to make money. We have one of the best water in the world. And we're going to show, I want to prove to Grenadians that we can do it. As I said, taking a business that was totally failed to bringing it now to a water that's turning over millions now in less than 2 years. You know, I want to encourage, maybe there are people out there hearing my story, believe in yourself. We've got good products, whether it's soursop, whatever it is.
You know, Rolanda, I'm sitting here being totally inspired by what I'm hearing, and it's not just me. I'm going to share some comments with you on social media right now that I think are going to sort of put a feather in your cap. Benjamin Rouget says they're laid back for their own people. You know, we're talking about the laid back people. And by the way, you and I face the same challenges when it comes to personnel. Okay, that's why I'm still working alone. 15 years doing this alone. Okay? Benjamin says they move rapido with courteously with foreigners.
Yes.
That's a nasty habit we have.
Yes, yes. I have seen it. It's funny, I was speaking to a gentleman that came over from Canada. He was doing some work with one of our hotels. And you know, he said to me, he came to bring the hotel up to 4-star. The staff wasn't even a 1-star. We need training. Our people, I really hope, you know, people do not take it in the wrong way, but our people need help. That's why I'm encouraging people that comes from abroad. We have a lot of them sitting here, help. We need it. If other people does not want the help, come in at Montpellier and volunteer, because most of the people do not want money. They just want us to do well. But, you know, I challenge one of the big hotels that they have to take, I was told that there was advice not to take our water because they were bringing in water from foreign country. And I told them, I said, you got to take it, and we have to stand up. People are coming here to invest, and they say they want to invest in our economy. And next thing, they are shipping everything in. But we can put our foot down, work together. We have fantastic product. We have fresh fruits. We have good water. You know, we have good people. We have to stop putting our head down and burying our head underneath our arm and saying, wait our turn, wait our turn.
All right, there's somebody listening to you in Orlando, Florida, right now. He's right. He says, put your Mount Pure on the camera. Did you bring a bottle? Oh, good. All right, here's, oh boy, I hope I can get this out.
This is our mineral water.
And Ryan, let me tell you this stuff. I have a carton of this stuff, and it's excellento. Then
that's the Steil one. The water comes from the aquifer, sparkling. So we go through a process where we remove the air from it. Our sparkling water, the one in the blue, we can't get enough of it. So that is our premium water. You know, one of the things, Mr. Grant, that really upset me.
George.
When the Prince Charles came to visit us, we had just won one of the best bottled water in the world. 54 countries, over 100 participants, 5 continents. And do you know what they gave her? Perrier. We have to stop that.
I bet we gave them
the
chocolate.
I sure we didn't. You know, I mean, who is making those decisions? You know, why are we ashamed? And I have to say ashamed. Why are we ashamed of everything that we have? And we shipped it all out. It seems we are afraid to give it to our guests when we have here. When I go to restaurants, and I always ask, have you got mineral water? And the staff would just become depressed. And they would say, we have a water, Monk Pure, very, very quietly. And then they would say, but we've got Perrier. And I goes to them, you have to be proud. So I always say, we have to take out the P in pure and put it back in proud. You remember growing up as a child, we always used to say, we are poor, but proud. We were proud of, and maybe I was from this era, where my parents taught me to be proud of who I am, to be proud of what we have. But now we are teaching our children to be proud of what is coming from outside.
Okay, Roger Mitchell says, Grenadians have a laid-back mentality. Ryan says, I like this very smart lady, Gigi.
Thank you.
And Bob Marisho says, well said, Ryan. I'm very impressed with her. Now, there's a question here from Ernesto. He says, we've been hearing that some people from the south have been experiencing discomfort with the water they're drinking from the tap lately, which causes diarrhea and other discomfort. I've been a victim of that, by the way.
I've heard of that.
She says, what is your factory doing or involving or... What is your company doing, if anything, to address this issue?
We cannot do anything.
You can't?
No, because we are not the government. Okay. You have to speak to the Bureau of Standard. You know, I cannot do it by myself. Sometimes we think one person could take on the fight. I have taken on the fight to make sure we are included. I've spoken to the Bureau of Standard because our water standard has dropped, and I have a problem with them at the moment where I think people should be bringing our water standard up. But again, when you do not care and you say water is water, why should other people care? You have to care what you're putting into your system. You have to pick up a bottle and read it. When you have water coming from, I live in England for 38 years, and I've seen water here. I've seen juices here that I know that's been banned in England and banned in America of all places. And it's here selling in Grenada. And when you speak to somebody about it, they have this attitude that they do not care, you know, and you cannot try to correct them because they become very aggressive.
Yep.
So you just have to speak to the few that would understand and are willing to learn. And what we are trying to do is to go around to the schools, and I'm saying to the kids, you have a choice. Read. There is no excuse. Go on the computer, do your research. Don't take my word for it. Whoever is listening, don't take my word for it. Go and do your own research.
Okay, Peter Balfon says, I do understand now that you speak, madame. Knowledge is indeed power, but when you're talking business, you need 20/20 vision. And Ms. McQueen, you are correct with what you're saying. Thank you. Your speed depends on who is chasing you.
That's an old African proverb.
Now here is one from Margaret. Margaret's listening to you in New York. She says, is this lady suggesting that because someone needs a job, they should work their fingers off? Hold on. They should work their fingers off the bone? A good work ethic has nothing to do with someone wanting to go to church. Human beings need time to recreate and reconnect with their creator and or spiritual being. An overworked employee cannot produce either, and defeats the purpose also.
No, I'm not saying that at all. I believe, a very religious person, but at the same time, I'm not going to make my religion block my dreams. You know, there are people that think if you have a business or if you do whatever it is, you know, it does not matter how much you praise God if you're not doing the good deeds. Because I could go to church every day.
The scriptures say that. And
not do the good deeds. What use? What use would it be? I believe God looks at somebody's heart. Whether you're a Muslim, you're a Christian, whatever faith you are. That's what God looks at your heart. I believe God would prefer I close down my factory, keep my workers working if we could save lives. You know, that's how I look at it. But I have respect for every one religion and their beliefs.
Malvon Coutain says, Mount Pure, good morning to you. You're talking the truth. I'm going to keep it up. Wayne Francis says, not surprised, Miss Lady. That's blacks for you, whatever that means. Wayne Francis says, blacks all around the world just don't support each other. Boy, Wayne, ain't that truth. But, shameful.
But I must say, when I first started off, it was tough. But the people are really behind me now because I think they could see the benefits. We have had stories. And what people cannot realize, what people have to realize, is clean water. If you drink clean water that is not put through all type of process, you will get good result.
Margaret seems to agree. She says, if employees are treated fairly, trained properly, made to feel that their contributions are valued, and that they're not just a senseless cog in the wheel, then you would get a different type of employee.
But again, in Grenada, the amount of duties we have to pay on customs, people cannot afford to train their employees. I would love to be able to train my employees more. But to send them on courses and different things like that, we can't afford to do it. We're only a small company. So that's what I say. I bring in people, I bring in the Cubans to help train them. So they are employed by the company and at the same time. And Margaret, there are lots of people that are not willing to learn. This is what my Grenadians workers are not all of them. it's like working in a kindergarten. You have to say to them every day they come in at work, please put your telephone away. Please, put your phone away. I send people home. I don't get rid of people. I will send them home. I'll come back next week and they have the same problem. If I were to be, I'll be sacking people every single day. But I believe that we've got a problem. And if I can try and sort the problem out, starting with Montpure, maybe we'll make a difference. That person may leave and go on. I mean, I have someone that's working with me who is Down syndrome. I have somebody that has spent 8 years in prison. And I remember when he came for the job, I said to me, he just spent 8 years in prison. And I said to him, for a violent crime. And I was, wow. But then I hold his hand and I looked at him in his eye and I said to him, don't let me down. Because nobody else will give you this opportunity. And he's great. We're working well. I have people I'll pick up. I have a young guy that's been working with me now for 7 years in my other business. And he was a tramp on the side of the road. And he's been with people called me when I was in England and said to me, don't give him a second chance. He's an old thief. He is one of my best workers. We still fight, but it's about giving people opportunities, giving
them opportunities, yes. And
not judging.
There's some who want the opportunity.
Oh, yes.
But I ain't going to sit here and kid anybody. There's some people out there who just don't give a hoot. They don't.
Yeah, but we have to try.
Okay. Now, Patricia Walcott says the water is attractively packaged and tastes superior.
Thank you. It is. Patricia, we try. We know there is a long way to go. I have so many other ideas up my sleeve. I am what you call one proud Grenadian. I am just so proud of my country and my people. Even just speaking, like, it makes me emotional because I know if we are given the opportunity, when I go to Expo, if you see the amount of products our young entrepreneurs are producing and doing, but there is nowhere to go with it. I have a young girl that is using organic, all the organic herbs to make cleaning products. And she just had to stop because there is no money. There is nothing for them to go on. But I give advice to them and I tell them, keep pushing, keep going, don't give up. Because when you are determined, the sky is not even the limit. We have to push through it.
Peter Belfont says, it seems to be a nasty mindset. We belittle ourselves and are afraid to take risks. And this is evident by the number of foreign businessmen, stores in particular, the locals are more prepared to rent their property to. Yes. Grenada seems to be regressing.
Yes.
Patricia Walcott says, this lady is speaking a mouthful. Boy, aren't you glad you came here this morning? Ernesto says, what about giving a few bottles to the people of the South, seeing you have the best water in the world, as you said?
We do. In the south of Grenada or south of, where is he? South of which part? Grenada?
Yeah, St. George's.
Oh, we have the water, we cannot produce enough. It is becoming, we are working from 6 o'clock in the morning till 2 o'clock at night, and we cannot produce enough of the water. Because, as I said, people are seeing the benefits of drinking clean water.
Margaret says, that is the classic myth that has been sold to black folks as a means of dividing and conquering. Sadly, we have bought into the myth, and worse, perpetuated. We are our worst enemies.
But I think it's time we stop forgetting about the slavery thing and start work. I'm not saying it's not, we have to respect our ancestors. But when you look at Grenada, we had so much land. This was people that was beaten, they worked to the bone, and they left all this inheritance for us. We cannot, if they had fought to give it to us, now we're selling it. We cannot be blaming slavery. Our parents, I know, went without shoes. I remember, I am in my middle 50s, where my grandmother used to wear the flour bag on the way, so she could send my brother to GBSS and to give him an education. So there is just no excuse now. We have to get away from that mindset and look at people that are going forward and follow them.
Wayne Francis says, it will take people like you, Miss Lady. Did you know that your name, Miss Lady? It will take people like you, Miss Lady, force the change. You're doing a great job.
Thank you.
Let me see here now. Isaac says, we need to train our workers to perform all the jobs among pure while still employing specialists to make the project successful. Wayne says, discipline, discipline, discipline.
They are hard to discipline.
Yeah. I know that's a challenge you face. I know that.
They are hard to discipline. I mean, this, when we went, as I said, when we had that problem with where we were banned for selling our water at one of our biggest events, you know, I could not believe what I was hearing. And again, my staff said, Miss McQueen, don't push. Everybody, you know, you have to leave it to them big boys. They're going to crush you. If you try to fight, they will crush you. And that made me sad. In a way, it frightened me. And thinking, my God, I've just invested so much money in my company. If I was to stand up to the giants, what am I going to lose all my investment? And I thought, no. I contacted them. I got a lawyer, I went to the ministers, I spoke to all of them, I said, listen, I don't want to fight. Montpellier will be taking part in Spice Mass. They looked at me and they laughed. I took them to court and the judge allowed me to sell the product in Spice Mass. I'm going back to court in January and I know it will overturn. And what I have done, the people that have been saying that I shouldn't take them to the government to court, that I should just be satisfied, I didn't do it for me. I did it for the next generation coming. Because if I did not go and take them to court, next year Coca-Cola could come and say we're buying the whole of Spice Mass. And that means no other Grenadian was going to be able to go and sell their little bits and pieces for their children to go back to school and things like that. You know, so anytime anyone tried to stop Montpellier from taking part in something that we, the taxpayers, are paying for, I'm going to take them to court. No one is going to stop us.
Claudius McLeod says, standards, that's where the difference lies. Life is about being competitive. With low standards, the competitiveness of a nation is diminished.
Yes.
Where high standards have been applied in Grenadian society, from politics to athletics, the outcome has always been outstanding.
Yes, yes, I totally believe that.
And Roger Mitchell says, work ethics in Grenada, very low. I've seen it myself.
Yes.
We all have. Try going into some of the banks downtown.
Well, you have to, when you're going to the bank, you have to walk with your packed lunch. I don't go banks. If you cannot go to the bank without walking with your packed lunch. But I had clothes shops in England, boutiques. I was the only black woman with 6 boutiques in England. I served all the royal family. The only person I think I didn't serve was the Queen and all the celebrities. But you know what I did? I had pride in what I do. My business opened at 10. I didn't get there at 11. And there was nothing impossible to do for my clients. If they needed something, I'll do it. And it's the same thing I say to my staff with Montpellier. We are getting there, and maybe everything is not the way it should be, but have patience with us. And we will make people realize that we can do it. We try to deliver water when I say it should, not every time it happens. And sometimes, I have to be in the office all the time, reminding them, if a customer is not happy with product, I would send a case to them. Or, we don't fight with our customers. It seems like we know how to serve the foreign customers, and once it comes to us Grenadians, we treat each other in a terrible way. everyone is treated in the same way, and I have to keep saying that to them. The customers is always right, even if sometimes they are wrong, but it does not matter. It's about keeping them and making them happy, and it doesn't take much to make someone happy.
Let me read a few of these for you. Peter Belfont says, oh yes, this is a chronic problem. They don't understand the use of the phones on the job. That to me is very unprofessional. It's something you were talking about earlier. Bob Marisho says, I'm saying this for the first time and hopefully do not sound braggadocious. I am a water expert and did my thesis titled Water from Source to Destination. I'm listening to her intently. She does not have a grasp on the technical knowledge, but on the business side, she is superb. I wish her well.
Thank you, and I would like to maybe to invite you, because as I say, we are learning. I haven't, as I say, I'm a businesswoman and I'm an entrepreneur. I know we have a good product and I want it out there to the world. But if you are an expertise, we are open. That's what Monkey, we want to learn. We want to learn from somebody that knows, you know, whatever time you have to come and teach the next generation, we will welcome him with open arms.
We only have about 4 minutes left. Green's Auto Body says, Ms. McQueen, I'm sharing your sentiment. I walk that road in the automotive industry. People out there understand. Those of us who are on the ground understand where you're coming from. Peter Belfont says, I will now try that water as of tomorrow. Listen, usually when I come in to sit here, I bring in the water with me, right? So I don't have to get up during the program. I forgot this morning. Do you mind if I...
No. That's it.
Ryan is asking, can I buy your water in Florida?
We haven't got a distributor out there, but I'm sure we can post you some.
Bradley Vespre says, George, as Bob Marley said, emancipate yourself from mental slavery. The inability to make decisions stems from the effects of slavery.
Yes.
What do you think?
But isn't it, but we make decisions on other things. We make a lot of decisions on the things that are not beneficial to us. I think we have to start thinking for ourselves. When I was growing up as a child, the only time I would get a slap or a wooden spoon on my bum was when I wasn't thinking. Parents always say to think. But now it seems like, I don't know if it's the world of the computer or whatever it is, our children are not thinking. We had to think about the friends we keep. We had everything they were saying to us to think. They would poke you in your head or give you a rap and tell you to think. So we have to start encouraging our young people to think for themselves rather than making the iPhone think for them.
Wayne Francis says, I wish you, Miss Mountpure, all the best. God's blessings. Sonia McKee John says, I hope you are paying attention, my people, because you seem to be doing well. Oh, wait. Sonia McKee, she says, I hope you are paying my people well because you seem to be doing well.
Sonia, we are doing well, but last year we spent $350,000 on wages alone. But when you have a lot of people that hasn't got a clue of how to work, the people that get the bigger pay is the expertise that come in to train. You can, as I say, if you pay peanuts, you get monkey. You know, what I want to do, I want to see all my workers financially secure. That is the reason why I getting people in to pay them. You cannot pay somebody for a job that they cannot do. So that they cannot do well. So what I am doing, when we have to promote someone, we look inside of Montpure rather than going outside to promote anyone.
Tim Tom Ortega says, she already said she can't produce enough for demand. She's not running a charity, it's a business. The people in the South voted for their MP and their party, so they should go to them for help with the water situation. Margaret says, Bob Marashow, how did you determine that she doesn't have the technical know-how? This discussion has not been a technical one.
Yeah, that's why I said, I have no idea. I know we have a great product. I brought it out there to the world. The world had said, yes, we have one of the best bottled water in the world, and we are looking forward to going back. It was the first time that we entered. What I would like to ask the people out there is let us secure our water sources. A lot of them is contaminated. Let us speak to the government. Let us make sure that we haven't got pesticides in our water. I remember when we won the competition, I phoned a politician and I said, listen, we have won a very prestigious competition. Please, can we secure the source? And she told me, I cannot tell people what to do with their land, which was quite sad.
Wilmot Mark says, why doesn't the government put Mount Pure on the Pure Grenada tourism brand? For it is an international brand. This lady should be an ambassador.
Well, the way things work in Grenada, it's totally different to the way things work abroad. But as I said, I don't take no for an answer. And what I am going to do, when the people from Berkeley Springs was going to come down to Grenada to give us the award, when you win such a prestigious award, they go to every country. I spoke to the Prime Minister about it, and he was very excited. He was all behind us. He told us to go to the tourist board, and they didn't help us.
The tourist board didn't?
They wasn't interested.
I've heard stories like that before.
So we didn't. It was so sad. So these people never came to give us the award. But they said the next award that is going to be food, it will be for water. So I was very disappointed that the person at the Prime Minister said yes, they would love them to come. We didn't get the help. But that is not going to stop us.
All right. Gemma Monica Hunt says, stand up to the big bullies. Roger Mitchell says, teach them, Miss McQueen. Bradley Vespery says, great guest, George. Peter Belfont says, congratulations are certainly in order for you. Wayne Francis says, never underestimate the strength of woman. Yeah. Benjamin Rouget says, great guest indeed. Coaxing us to do better is good for any worker. Dave Bertrand says, kudos to you, lady. Thank God you are in Grenada and not Dominica.
Oh, I would love to be in Dominica.
Bob Marashow says, Mags, I have a water company in Grenada. In 2003, Hurricane Ivan did me in. Ryan says, yes, work ethics, discipline, and standards are sadly missing in Grenada. Claude Pudna, Claude Pudna, I'm out of time, so I'm just going to try and hurry up these. Claude says, Bob Marley said, stand up and fight back. You have nothing. I say, fight for your... Goodbye, Claude. Peter Belfont says, observation, your human resources must be tapped into. You're a mentor for future young businessmen and women. Aren't you glad you came?
Yes, thank you. Thank
Okay.
you. Thank you. It makes me feel good because sometimes it's quite lonely out there.
Tell me about it, girl. Nicole Gittins Kishinama says, can you send us some in Martinique?
Yes, we can. And we are doing glass bottles as well. I'm recycling the glass bottles. But again, one of the things before we go, I must say, all the hotels that came and they're saying they want glass bottles, we have glass bottles. They don't really want it. What they want is the water at a price that is so cheap. And I refuse to do that.
Isaac says, can you speak and understand Spanish? I give Mount Pure top marks, and I must try its mineral water in the blue bottle. Eat your heart out, Ruby. Do any of your employees become shareholders?
Yes, that's what I'm trying to do. I've had interest from outside who people wanted to invest. I want my employees to have shares. I think that would be fantastic. But again, my people just want the money now. They're not interested in down the line. But yes, that's one of the first things I've said. Once we are up and going, I want to offer them shares. I think it is very important.
Rolanda, listen, I'm out of time. But I want you to do yourself a favor. When you get home this afternoon, go to my page,
Yes.
Facebook, GrenadaBroadcast, and you will see there are a lot more comments I haven't even touched on here. Okay, because I just
Facebook.
don't have.
Facebook.
You have really, really touched these people this morning. Really, really touched them. And I want to say thank you very much.
No, and I'm so sorry that I never realized the girl didn't give you that vote.
Yeah, that's passé. Moving right along, Rolanda McQueen is the Chief Executive Officer of Mount Pure Water, and she's been chatting with us here, and I guess she's going to leave a couple bottles of water this morning. Thank you very much, my friend. Don't leave with my microphone clipped onto you there. A lot of people walk out of here with these little devices. See this? Nice little gadget, but everybody walks out with it, and I have to go chasing after them. Thanks a lot, Rolanda, and okay, thank you very much. Let me take a little break here, and then we shall return with the remainder of the program. And let me tell you thought that was hot? A lot more coming.
Because your vehicle is a necessity, being roadworthy is critical. Hubbard's Motor Department introduces its new tire and battery sales and service outlet located at Building Supplies Compound in Grandans, close to the Sugar Mill Roundabout. Available are a wide range of competitively priced tires, maintenance-free batteries, oils and lubricants. Keeping in mind your busy schedule, this outlet is equipped to provide you with fast and reliable service. Simply drive in and you'll be delighted with your service experience. For more information, contact 440-2087. Hubbard's, quality service, affordable prices.
Juve chocolates, cocoa nibs, and cocoa balls from Diamond Estate, Grenada are now available at Amazon.com, Amazon.ca, Amazon.co.uk, and GrenadaMarket.com. Try their sensational touch of nutmeg and a touch of ginger chocolates, 75% dark and rich, 100% pure cocoa, and their 60% dark and sweet chocolate bars today. Amazon Prime members enjoy free shipping on these orders in the USA, Canada, and Europe. GrenadaMarket.com. When you can't come to the island, the products of the island will come to you.
Why wish upon a star? For a bank is better by far. Whatever you're wishing for this Christmas, will give you low interest and no fuss.
Co-op Bank is making Christmas wishes come true. Fix up your home, treat your loved ones, and get everything on your Christmas list this year with our no-fuss loans. As we count down the 12 days to Christmas, you can win awesome prizes every day. Special terms and conditions apply.
Christmas wishes come true with Co-op Bank and you.
Welcome home.
Alrighty, folks, let me say thank you so much to those of you who provided so much encouragement to this lady here this morning. She walked out of here on a cloud, and I really hope she takes the time to go see the comments you've been posting there during that little session. She has been through a very tough time, as have I. We can relate to each other. We know, okay? Neither one of us is perfect. Neither one, okay? But thank you so much for encouraging her. Now, let's take a look at another side of Grenada, okay? You just heard some really great things about this country. We got to be balanced. There's a dark side. What I'm about to show you is an embarrassment to Grenada. You're about to see more evidence of broken promises by those in authority. You're actually going to see what I describe as eyesores that are part and parcel of our tourism product. Not only that, this is a health hazard thanks to the breeding of mosquitoes. Check this out. You know, folks, I am so happy that I have been able to show that to you so you've seen it with your own eyes. You don't have to go anywhere in the bush to look for this stuff. Just drive along the main road going up the West Coast. We did the East Coast a couple months ago. Just go up the West Coast. Take a look in plain sight. In plain sight. Yada, 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 yada. Pure Grenada at her best. I know there are some who are going to come after me for showing that to you. See if I care. It is a fact. Let me go back here. Wayne Francis says, this is unbelievable to say the least. Wayne, to say the least. Lydia James says, George, you must call that section of your program where you showcase all the old buildings and vehicles around Grenada Breakheart Secession. That really breaks my heart. Not just you, Lydia. And a lot of people feel that way. A lot of people feel that way. You know, in one breath, I'm very critical of the Grenadians who are doing that. It's not the government who goes around dumping that junk. It's we, Grenadians, us. But there's a reason why we have something called a government in place. And when you hear that government come out with their rhetoric, it makes me regurgitate. Agatha Jordan says, when the ministers pass in their air-conditioned cars with their dark windows, they can't see that. Shame, shame, shame on us all. Yes, Agatha. Yeah. God. Wayne says, Mr. Grant, keep exposing the authorities for not doing their job, neglecting the environment, and allowing Grenada to spoil. And then these guys go to these international forums and talk all the crapola about all they're doing to preserve and protect the environment so they could get a little handout, Settle down, George, it's a Sunday morning, Wayne Francis says, Mr. Grant, okay, I just read that. Ernesto says, Gigi, every vehicle registered with a V number, so I think it's easy to find the owner of these illegal dumpings. Yeah, shouldn't be tough. Peter Belfont says, what is this? These people don't have one bit of national pride. Where is the Minister of Health in all of this? Is he a Minister of Health or the Minister of Wealth? Good question. Folks, I am so happy that you got to see that with your own eyes. Ryan says, oh my gosh, a toxic dumping of scrapped vehicles and waste by the roadside, yeah. Larry Gitton says, that there is our tourism product. Ain't that a shame? Ain't that a shame, Larry? It's true. But you and I will be accused and labeled and branded as being unpatriotic because we showed that stuff. Roger Mitchell says, whoa, and that's just the metal. What happened to the lubricants? I even saw one in a river. And did you see the trees growing in those things? Which means it wasn't just put there yesterday or last week. Things have been there for years. Years. Hold on a sec here. Wayne says, yes, Mr. Grant, the world can see it. Bob Marisho says, your best video of all time, in my opinion. Keep it in your archive. It may bring you a lot of money in the future. Can you copyright it? Please do. Money is the least of my, I need money, but money is the least of my concerns right now. It's just the well-being of our country, you and me. That's why I do this stuff. You think I get pleasure in doing this? Claudius McLeod says, when last I was in Grenada, I found there were so many low-hanging fruit problems in Grenada that could be fixed with simple solutions. This is an example of leadership choosing to bury its head in the sand. A well-defined enforcement scheme would end this rapid, thank you, sir, thank you, would end this rapidly. All of those vehicles have VINs that can be traced back to the owner. There is no excuse for this. I want to take a moment here. Got to mention these guys. Two guys who helped me to put this thing together. They also did on the East Coast a few months ago. Mandoo Seals and Ian Blakie. They're two tour operators. They also run a little NGO called the Grenada Green Group. These are people who take thousands of visitors to this island around this country. And this is what they have to show them. Lydia James says, protect the environment. It's the money they're interested in. Yeah, that's the truth. That's the truth. Tim Tom Ortega says, George, you should send a copy of this video to Simon Steil and then CC a copy to the United Nations and the other organizations that they run to for funding under climate change and resilience. Absolutely. Thank you, Tim Tom. Catherine Edwards says, what are the business community who sell these vehicles doing about the waste around the country? It's not fair to leave it all to the consumers. Wayne Francis says, you're so right, but no one is interested. Ian Blakie says, hello, Ian. It's nice to see you. Is Mandoo there with you? If he isn't, make sure he gets to see that, okay? Ian said, and Ian's one of the people who helped me to do this. George and others, yesterday's hash was Montoot. See my hash pictures. Facebook Grenada, hold on a second. Facebook Grenada Hash House Harriers. Pink Panther pictures. The last few pictures are of the stuff that's being dumped at Mount Hartman. It's becoming a second Perseverance. It's an epidemic. It's worsening. You know, Ian, I know you guys are busy with the tourist season getting started, but anytime you guys have a couple of minutes, give me a ding. Let's hit the road again, because I'm going to keep showing this stuff to Grenada and the rest of the world until these wake up. Catherine Edwards says, I think they should take some responsibility for this. Roger Mitchell says, the people at the climate change conference are the importers. Isaac says, tell the truth, Minister. We have all paid government disposal fee when we bring in vehicles over 5 years old. So where's the money we paid? Good question. Ernesto Jose says, remember the Minister of Health is in the vehicle business. Duh. Wayne Francis says, what I can't understand is why don't the government implement a recycling program to where all the old vehicles go back where they come from? Claudius McLeod says, in that same trip, I came with friends from Turkey and Ireland. Because of images like these, they left Grenada with a rather negative opinion. Surprised? Surprised? He says, those friends questioned the pride of Grenadians. Yeah, absolutely. Like somebody said earlier on, you can't just blame government. You can't. Lydia James says, one of the persons who's responsible for those old vehicles is the Minister of Health. No kidding. Ian Blakie says, George and others, yesterday's hash was more than 2. Yeah, we just read that. Okay. Marilyn Campbell says, Marilyn Campbell is watching. Okay, folks. I'll tell you what. Let's go straight to our next little piece. Yeah, hang on a sec here. So let me get set up. Dominica has retained its Prime Minister, Roosevelt SKERRIT, unprecedented 5th term in office. And at about 9 o'clock on Friday night, he issued the following address to the nation, and I would like to share that with you right now.
My dear people, the elections are over. They were, as the Dominican Labour Party has always promised, free and fair. The national general elections were conducted under the laws that have governed elections in this country in the 41 years since independence. The people of the Commonwealth of Dominica have spoken, and I want to thank them for giving the Dominican Labour Party a resounding victory and returning us to office for another term as the next government. I want to thank you for giving me the honor and privilege of serving you as Prime Minister and for electing the Dominican Labour Party as your government. We are humbled and grateful for your continued confidence and support. I want to reassure you tonight that the Labour Party recommits to the high standards of governance for which we have become known at home and abroad. I also sincerely congratulate all incoming parliamentary representatives from every constituency and look forward to working with you. I extend particular congratulations to those of you who were elected for the first time and wish you good service to your constituents. There is no doubt that the election campaign was a bruising one. I want to thank all the people who voted today, and in so doing, demonstrated that democracy in our country is alive and well. It was Labour's contention from the very outset that the ballot box is a fair and legitimate expression of what the people want. It was always Labour's preferred choice over the divisive rhetoric and actions which put nationals in fear, harmed our social fabric, our economy, and our international reputation. Our citizens have made their choice. We must all now respect that. Given the atmosphere of fear and intimidation created by the United Workers' Party opposition over the course of this campaign, many people could have opted to stay at home. But Dominicans have once again shown tremendous determination, courage, and resilience in the face of all the odds. They turned out in large numbers to show their dissatisfaction with the opposition party. I salute the people of this country who continue to make me proud to be Dominican. I wish to thank the candidates of the Labour Party, our volunteers, teams and supporters all over Dominica for the exemplary manner in which they conducted themselves throughout this election campaign and for their collective and individual contributions in securing the victory. Let me also thank Mr. Hartley Henry, our political strategist for the past 25 years, and who has provided great support and advice to the Dominican Labour Party over these 25 years, including in this just concluded general elections. And Dr. Vince Henderson, our campaign manager, for their exemplary efforts towards winning this victory. Let me also thank the Dominicans abroad and the many from all over the world who have offered prayerful support and messages which have buoyed our spirits and kept us focused during the agenda of violence over the last few weeks. The Labour Party has a proud history. Our legacy of development of Dominica and Dominica's stands for the world to see. We took over a country that was broke and undeveloped and transformed it. Dominica has come far and is now positioned to be one of the leaders in our region. Labour's success at rebuilding and building back better after the energy crisis, the global financial crisis, and the natural disasters of Erica and Maria will continue to be admired and lauded by commentators all over the world. At the start of this campaign, and in my letter to the people of Dominica, contained in the Labour Party's manifesto, I indicated that the Labour Party was seeking re-election on 3 grounds: our performance as a government, the strength of our new team, and our vision for the future. Let us concede that we have a great deal of hard work ahead of us. There is no doubt that there are now social rifts, economic damage, and reputational concerns which have to be addressed as a matter of urgency. This will be the first order of business of the new Labour Party government. In that regard, I will shortly be naming my cabinet so that we can immediately set out rebuilding from the reputational damage and repairing the hurts of the last few weeks. I also look forward to inviting Mr. Linton to early discussions as we all seek to unite the nation. Our agenda for the new term is an ambitious and exciting one. We have to start work at once to build dynamic Dominica, while continuing our major initiatives in housing, health, and education. At the same time, we recognize the need to continue our signature social programs, such as the Yes We Care and Rapid Response. The government must also quickly begin the reclassification exercise for the members of the public service in order that they can get a better deal. I include here the general service, but especially nurses, the police, teachers, and the fire officers. For some time now, and certainly during this campaign, the issue of electoral reform has been a vexed one. Although they have called for it, the UWP blocked the legislation and process for reform by protest action and an injunction in the High Court. We have to move beyond this and bring the process of reform to a closure in a manner that satisfies the national interest. Having reflected on this issue, it is my intention to invite a renowned Caribbean jurist to lead a national commission on electoral reform. The work of that commission, added to all the previous consultancy and election reports from various international organizations, together with the decision of the courts, will inform the shape of Dominica's electoral reform. Public hearings will be held throughout the country, and all Dominicans will be able to appear before the Commission and give their views. Provision will be made for anonymous submissions, as well as for an open discussion forum on social media sites. These, my dear friends, constitute the priority agenda of the first 100 days of the new administration of the Dominica Labour Party. The Labour Party will continue its mission to protect our seniors, the poor and vulnerable, expand opportunity for all citizens, build a just society, a robust economy, a resilient natural and built environment, and secure the future of our young people and our country. The elections are over. The UWP failed to delay or stop elections through legal means. They failed to provoke our society or security services. They failed in getting the country to take up their call for widespread violence and unrest. And they have failed in the ballot box. It is not for me to advise them, but perhaps they may wish to consider that a campaign of lies and acts of national harm are not the way to woo the electorate and win an election. After a general election defeat, political parties tend to have a period of introspection in which they review their leadership, policies, and practices, but they also regroup and research, which I know the UWP will do. An opposition is an important institution in a democratic society, and the Labour Party looks forward to the UWP performing the role of opposition in a responsible manner. However, as Prime Minister, I cannot allow the UWP campaign of roadblocking, recklessness, intimidation, and abuse to continue indefinitely and unabated. There must and will be respect for law and order in this country. It is only by God's grace and mercy that no one has been seriously hurt so far. In the interest of the country, I call on the UWP leadership and supporters to halt the conduct and behavior of the last few weeks, concede defeat, and let the country come together. I therefore want to appeal to Dominicans in every constituency to let us move forward in unity. Many votes go into ballot boxes. But once the results of those votes are known, we must emerge as one people, focused on the important task of national healing and nation building. We must all now put Dominica first. In communities, families, and at the national level, there must, from tonight, be peace. The essential healing and rebuilding from the events of the last few weeks can only take place in an atmosphere of restraint, respect, and calm. And that is what I call for: restraint, respect, and calm. It is customary for various kinds of celebrations to follow elections. Nonetheless, given the volatility and tensions of the last few weeks, I am asking all Labour Party candidates to suspend their victory celebrations until next weekend. Instead, I am declaring Sunday, December 8th as a day of national peace, prayer, reconciliation, and healing. I am asking for all churches to hold services at 10 o'clock in the morning so that the entire country will be praying at the same time. I am instructing all newly elected Labour Party parliamentarians and losing candidates to lead by example and attend a church service in their individual constituencies at a church of their choice. I invite the elected parliamentarians from the UWP to do the same. Next weekend, when there's a greater sense of calm, we will hold our victory parties, motorcades, and celebrations of various sorts. There will also be a national ecumenical service of Thanksgiving at that time. I give this country my full assurance that the Dominica Labour Party and I are completely committed to the dual task of healing and building the nation. Anu Chebe Dominic 4. Let's hold on to Dominica strong. May God bless all Dominicans everywhere, and may God bless and heal our beautiful and beloved country. Let us go forth to praise our God and to build our country, Dominica. Dominica this time needs unity, it needs peace, it needs restraint, it needs calm. And I offer this to the country. I offer everyone my peace and my love. And we have a country to build. Let's put the elections behind us. May God bless our beautiful country. Thank you very much.
Oh boy, oh boy, okay. That address was delivered, I think around 9 o'clock on Thursday evening by the Prime Minister, just after the results came out. Needless to say, there are a lot of comments out there, so let's see how many we can handle here. I haven't had a chance to read them all, so I hope that they have been properly posted. Okay. Ryan says the results of the Dominica elections were to be expected. Tim Ortega says, another crime minister in the Caribbean. Why didn't you implement? Oh, hold on a sec here. Why didn't you implement the electoral reforms that were strongly recommended by the OAS? Why are you and your crime minister buddies in the Caribbean always linked to crooks and conmen? You know, I think I have seen where both the OAS and the Commonwealth missions have issued preliminary statements saying that the elections were free and fair. Thank God, it seems like all of our prayers were answered. Despite all the commotion that took place before the election, seems like things went pretty smoothly. But I can't help but ask myself, in light of the fact that in the run-up to the elections, we heard all these calls, even from the US government, the OAS, Commonwealth, everybody was calling for electoral reform. I don't think they just did that out of a vacuum. There's reason why they were calling for electoral reform. Probably because they felt that if this reform did not occur, then there would be some question about, the validity or the freeness and fairness of the outcome of the elections. So how come, now that the elections are over, without the reform taking place, oh, the elections were free and fair? Forgive me, I'm not very politically astute, so there's probably something I personally am missing here. If there is, let me know, because like I said, I'm here to learn, okay? Let me continue with these comments. Peter Belfon says, the facial expression is not confidently matching the spoken words. This is not the Skerritt I did admire when he entered the political arena 2 decades ago. Lydia James says, why is it now he's calling for everyone to pray together? If he didn't win, would that call be the same? Hypocrite. So says Lydia. Oh, scroll down, scroll down. Peter Belfon says, oh yeah? Unite the nation? Isaac says, Dominicans have not listened to their maker who warned them to change before worse than Maria visits their land. Ryan says, his eyes and countenance tell a sad and different story. Did he say, now electoral reform? After the fact. I don't know. I don't know. Margaret Francis says, one of the leaders in the region? Leader in what? Corruption? Selling passports? A leader on how to fool the masses and fleece the country? So says Mags. Gemma Monica Hunt says, they always say that. Okay, Margaret says, well, if he is sincere in calling for and implementing electoral reform, then the opposition would have won. But if I were Dominicans, I wouldn't hold my breath. Okay, I can tell there's some cynicism out there. Dennis Perkins is asking to be excused. He says here, please excuse my late attendance this windy day here in London. Ernesto says, when you win, it's easily said. When you lost, it's hard to digest. Tim Ortega says, former St. Kitts PM Dr. Stenzel Douglas was detained at Gatwick Airport in November with $70,000 and was able to say how he obtained it, but informed the UK officials that it was intended for campaigning purposes. Soon, the other crime ministers in the Caribbean involved will have to answer to the law. Good morning, Harry. Peter Belfont says, you divisive, corrupt rulers can never be leaders. The Caribbean is now the Caribbean is now poisoned by ambitious crooks under the cloak of MPs. And Alexa says, Grenadians need to pray for free and fair elections from now. Otherwise, we will end up with similar results over and over again. That's a real fear. Real fear. And Peter Belfont says, Skerritt, you are scary. Anthony Bain says, elections are won long before election day. That's a fact. Sonia Mathlin Scott says, I don't believe that. Ryan says, Gigi, now he wants electoral reform. Valid point. After the fact. After the fact. Whew. Kipling Francis says, we should find another name to call elections in the Caribbean. How about re-election? I got you, Kipling. Peter Balfon says, and all you hear is the people has spoken. Yeah. Have they? Grenada Sunshine says, CBI funds ensure victory. CBI funds ensure victory. Sad indeed. Free and fair elections. That's not the words from the opposition camp. So says Ernesto. Dennis Perkins, we are going to have a free and fair election this Thursday. Russia. Oh, Dennis. Yes, Dennis, I like your sense of humor. Dennis says, Dennis is in England, by the way. He says, we are going to have a free and fair election this Thursday, Russia permitting. Okay, folks, I'll tell you what. Let me take a quick little breaky here, pay some bills. We'll come back.
GrenLec continues to celebrate 25 years of partnership and growth. So this December, we're giving every customer the chance to spin and win. Just pay your bill in full on or before December 18th. Then, on Wednesday, December 18th, join us at any GrenLec customer care location. Spin to win giveaways that will make this season even more festive. Hams, groceries, gift vouchers, wine, electricity vouchers, and more. Join the celebration. December 18th, spin and win with GrenLec. Visit our website or Facebook page for more information. Terms and conditions apply.
Why wish upon a star? For a bank is better by far. Whatever you're wishing for this Christmas will give you no interest and no fuss.
Co-op Bank is making Christmas wishes come true. Fix up your home, treat your loved ones, and get everything on your Christmas list this year with our no-fuss loans. As we count down the 12 days to Christmas, you can win awesome prizes every day. Special terms and conditions apply.
Christmas wishes come true with Core Bank and you.
Welcome home.
Juve chocolates, cocoa nibs, and cocoa balls from Diamond Estate, Grenada are now available at Amazon.com, Amazon.ca, Amazon.co.uk, and GrenadaMarket.com. Try the sensational touch of nutmeg and a touch of ginger chocolates, 75% dark and rich, 100% pure cocoa, and their 60% dark and sweet chocolate bars today. Amazon Prime members enjoy free shipping on these orders in the USA, Canada, and Europe. GrenadaMarket.com. When you can't come to the island, the products of the island will come to you.
All right, quick comment here from Peter Belfont. He says, here in Grenada, they promised Nazem Burke a response on March 29th for his concerns about voter padding when the election was on March 13th, 2018. Hey, we like it so. Pilgrims. Earlier this week, the government of Grenada issued a statement denying any involvement in the sale of diplomatic passports. That came out in text form. It was also published in audio form. But then, just a couple of days ago, they also put that same text to video. They put together a beautiful, beautiful piece of video. And for no other reason. I mean, yes, listen to the text, listen to the statement that was made. But I also want you to pay attention to the beautiful scenes they captured of Grenada. I'm assuming that was intended to strengthen the text. Check this out.
The following is a statement from the government of Grenada on diplomatic appointments. The government of Grenada categorically denies the allegations which were recently made in the media regarding the CBI program, as well as the issuance of diplomatic passports. The government further states that no one has made any campaign contribution in order to be appointed as an ambassador. Neither is there any requirement for individuals to make campaign contributions in order to be considered for an appointment. Citizenship by investment programs are well-established investment programs internationally, which are maintained by many countries, including the US, Canada, and the UK. Grenada's CBI program has been ranked as one of the best-run programs by the International Monetary Fund, World Bank, and other financial institutions. There were many unfortunate pronouncements which have led to confusion following a recent well-publicized television documentary, which leaves the erroneous impression that the issuing of diplomatic passports is a natural extension of or in any way related to the CBI program. The two are governed separately and have their own rules for implementation under clear policy guidelines. Furthermore, the government of Grenada has a clear and distinct policy which has been in place and implemented by all administrations since 1974, which governs the appointment of diplomats. That policy is consistent with international norms that have been set out under the Vienna Convention, which governs these matters. In fact, it is important to note that a diplomatic passport does not automatically grant immunity to the holder. The only appointments that are subject to diplomatic immunity according to the Vienna Convention on Diplomatic Relations are officials who are accredited by the receiving state. Ambassadors at large, as per international protocol, while they benefit from certain courtesies, have no diplomatic immunity anywhere since they are not accredited by a receiving state. All persons considered for appointments must A. be of good reputation and proven competence, B. not have any criminal record, C. possess the skills necessary to function in the designated role, and D. submit to rigorous and satisfactory due diligence checks prior to and at any time during the appointments. It is categorically false that diplomatic appointments are for sale and have in any way been bought by non-nationals who currently serve the interests of Grenada overseas. Any attempt to tarnish the name of Grenada and the people of Grenada can be rebutted with facts. Even the Al Jazeera documentary admitted in several instances that they were only making allegations, and by their own admission stated several times that they could find no facts to substantiate their claims. The government of Grenada reassures the nation that its diplomatic appointments, as well as its CBI program, are conducted with the highest levels of integrity.
Salutations to you down at the GIS. Nicely put together little video package there. Thank you so much for sharing with us 25 minutes after the hour, folks. In Wednesday's edition of the GIS National Report, Grenada learned that government has every intention of taking legal action following the much-touted documentary aired by Al Jazeera last week. That segment included statements made in the Senate at this week's sitting by Senator Simon Steil. Thought I should share that with you this morning.
I'm here today as a citizen of Grenada, one that has
That's the wrong
been...
one. That's the wrong one. Hang on there for just a wee bit. That's the wrong one. That's the wrong one.
Continuing with the news, the leader of government business in the Senate says government will take legal action against those responsible for the production of a podcast which claims that Grenadian politicians have accepted campaign money in exchange for diplomatic passports from wealthy businessmen. Senator the Honorable Simon Steil on Wednesday said Grenada's Citizenship by Investment program is not associated and has not been associated with any political bribes. He said the program is done through due diligence and has been rated one of the best in the region. Al Jazeera Investigative Unit, an international TV network, released part 1 of a 4-part series of the podcast on November 25th, 2019.
We will not be distracted from this. The programs that we have in place are transparent, are accounted for. The Grenadian CBI program, our treatment of this program, we are viewed as the gold standard within the region. The levels of due diligence that we apply, applicants are actually frustrated because it takes so long because we are so thorough with it. What happens in other countries is not our concern. All we have control of is what we do here, and what we do here is proper, Mr. President.
Senator Steil says there is an ongoing battle between countries within the region and developed countries with similar competitive CBI programs. The intent of the developed countries is to get the region to cease their various CBI programs.
The promotional ad to that documentary, one of the journalists, a British journalist, made the comment, we in the UK have this exact program. The difference with the Caribbean is that they are desperately poor. That we are desperately poor. What does that mean? What does that mean? Some neo-colonialist nonsense? They can do it, they can exploit it, but because we are who we are, where we are, and because we are desperately poor, we shouldn't do it.
He says the circulation of the video on social media and via other means will not distract the government from being productive, sustainable, and accountable.
Measures, legal measures will be taken against those who have slandered the good name of this country. We have to protect the good name of this country, Mr. President. And action will be taken, but we will not will not distract us from doing what is right and what's in the interest of people.
Okie dokie. Boy, would be interesting to get some sort of reaction from Al Jazeera on that one. Pilgrims, on Friday, there was a march held to commemorate Anti-Corruption Day, which is tomorrow, by the way, the 9th of December. About 300 school children and officials of the Integrity Commission marched along Melville Street down to the Karani James Stadium, where there was a rally. And an address was delivered to the youngsters by the Commission's chairperson, Lady Anande Trotman Joseph. Because of the Good Day Grenada program on Friday morning, I was not able to leave the studio until about 11:30. Apparently this march must have started about 9:30 in the morning, okay? But I did manage to grab some footage on the way to Queen's Park and the stadium. I'd like to share some of that with you this morning, including a comment from someone who joined in the march with the youngsters. Take a look at some of the posters carried by the youngsters, followed by others who were somewhat differing in their views. Incidentally, I did extend an invitation to the chairperson of the Integrity Commission to sit here with me this morning. But she did have the Commission's Public Relations Officer give me a call on late on Friday to let me know that she wouldn't be able to attend since they will be having a church service at the St. George's Baptist Church getting underway at 10 o'clock this morning. So I'm assuming that it's now 11:30. It's probably still going on, okay? So take a look at this, and the audio that you're going to hear is that of a young man who's a bit of an advocate, Earl Joseph Maitland. And I want you to watch this carefully.
I'm here today as a citizen of Grenada, one that has been a victim of the Integrity Commission. I understand that the Integrity Commission has staged what they would like people to refer to as a protest against corruption. This is not the case, and I'm out here today to inform the people of our great nation that these people are nothing but mere wolf in sheep clothing, and the corruption that we face in Grenada only exists because persons like the ones we have in the Integrity Commission, without any form of integrity, they continue to allow these things to happen. When you look at the amount of organizations, the amount of entities that we have set up in Grenada from the outside, right? Right. So when you continue to look from the outside at the amount of bodies that we have against corruption in Grenada, one would reasonably believe that these entities are actually functioning properly. But what is happening is that it is just staged, right? It's just a mere mirage. These things do not take any accountability, they do not take any transparency, they have no intent, right? And I say no intent because it has been proven, especially based on their actions, no intent in serving the people of Grenada any justice. And unfortunately in 2019 I have to be out here trying to hold a placard in my hand and standing against the corruption whilst others are being paid handsomely to do exactly what many of us are doing here today, right? I would like to call on the persons in the Integrity Commission to please do the right thing. If you are not willing to step down, if you don't have a conscience to step down and allow persons of genuine hearts to take up the mandates of the Integrity in Public Life Act, to please do what needs to be done and help us end the corruption that's here in Grenada. It affects everyone. We have looked at the documentary from Al Jazeera, And these are very strong, have very strong implications on Grenada. Not only the Prime Minister, our reputation is at stake, our passports is at stake. One would recall just recently, Grenadians had no reason to seek any visas to go to Canada. But due to corrupt activities, we now have to go through these very stringent measures. And it will continue, right? We're calling on the Integrity Commission to look into stuff like these, right? They were very instrumental into looking into the MNIB. We would like them to look into this, to see, right? Contact the U.S. government. It is said that the U.S. government has confiscated the tape. We would like them to look into things like that, right? We would like them to look into phone bills that have been paid for individuals whilst our hospitals are left neglected. You know, persons are dying there on a daily basis. Persons are suffering. We have seen where persons have to sleep on chairs.
Okie dokie, folks. There you have it. Some scenes from Friday's anti-corruption march. And I'm certainly hoping that in the very near future we can get Lady Anande Trotman Joseph come in here, have a little chat with us, okay? Maybe respond to some of the things that Mr. Maitland was saying there. Now, this one, I spent pretty much most of the day yesterday putting together this little piece. Ernesto, you'd be very happy to see that I've been doing a lot of work. There's a young lady by the name of Valerie Thompson who lives in Carriacou, between Carriacou and Toronto. And apparently her aunt, I think it is, died sometime back in October. But before she died, she had written a piece about corruption. It's captioned "A Tribute to Anti-Corruption." And I want to share that with you right now. As you watch it, compare the words that you're listening to the video clips that you're watching. Check it out. It's called "A Tribute to Anti-Corruption."
A tribute to anti-corruption. A story about the good and evil of money. I am money. I am generally accepted as a medium of permanence. I am also a measure of value and a means of sustenance. I come from a very rich ancestry. I was born in a mint factory. I went through many processes before I became attractive. I was given many different names at face value. I mean different things to all people. I live in treasuries in many nations. I am worth millions and billions. I am a very important figure around the world. I am adorned in plastic, copper, silver, and gold. Whenever I travel, I am given priority, and I am protected by the highest security. People around the world worship and cling to me. Some become slaves to me. I am endowed with great power. I can kill and I can cure. I can make poor people rich and some rich poor because they always want more, more, more. It is said that I put so many in trouble. Their love of me is the root of all evil. It is said that I cause the world's problems. So beware, I can destroy families and I can destroy countries. There are those who will kill for me or even die for me. Others search for me but never find me. I was created to be used and not to be abused. I bring some people fame and I bring others Shame. Too many are dying in the country, all because of me. Yes, money is my name, and deceiving, that's my game. Vivian C. Thompson Patrick, also known as Auntie V, March 1931 to October 2019. International Society of Poets, Editor's Choice Award, 1996. Thank you.
There you have it. Thank you very much, Valerie. I certainly hope you got to watch that. I sent a copy to her last night so she could take a look at it. And that takes our time now to 20 minutes away from the hour. Folks, we still have one segment left. One. Mr. Brian Pitt. Brian appears here on Good Day Grenada every Friday, and this past Friday was no exception. We're going to share the conversation Brian and I had on Friday morning with you. But first, let's take a little break.
GrenLec continues to celebrate 25 years of partnership and growth. So this December, we're giving every customer the chance to spin and win. Just pay your bill in full on or before December 18th. Then, on Wednesday, December 18th, join us at any GrenLec customer care location. Spin to win giveaways that will make this season even more festive. Hams, groceries, gift vouchers, wine, electricity vouchers, and more. Join the celebration. December 18th, spin and win with GrenLec. Visit our website or Facebook page for more information. Terms and conditions apply.
Can I have a chicken lunch, please? Large.
Real nice today.
I don't want that.
But you just asked for a chicken lunch.
I don't have problem with the lunch. Afraid the container.
What is the problem with it?
These styrofoam containers, they don't good for the environment. They shorten with life.
What foolishness you telling me? So what you want me to use?
Put my food in this. Where you get that? At the food fair, where you could get all biodegradable food boxes and disposable food supplies like cups, plates, anything you could think about. Name it, it's there. And they don't harm the environment. Food fair, taking the lead in cleaning up and protecting the environment. Hey, like you take me advice, you get in your biodegradable food supplies.
Well, girl, I supporting who's supporting the environment. That is why I shop in at food fair.
Food fair, where you can fill your baskets without emptying your pockets. Products distributed by Hubbard's agency, Kirani James Boulevard.
Why wish upon a star? For bank is better by far. Whatever you're wishing for this Christmas, will give you low interest and no fuss.
Co-op Bank is making Christmas wishes come true. Fix up your home, treat your loved ones, and get everything on your Christmas list this year with our no-fuss loans. As we count down the 12 days to Christmas, you can win awesome prizes every day. Special terms and conditions apply.
Christmas wishes come true with Co-op Bank and you.
Juve chocolates, cocoa nibs, and cocoa balls from Diamond Estate Grenada are now available at Amazon.com, Amazon.ca, Amazon.co.uk, and GrenadaMarket.com. Try their sensational touch of nutmeg and a touch of ginger chocolates, 75% dark and rich, 100% pure cocoa, and their 60% dark and sweet chocolate bars today. Amazon Prime members enjoy free shipping on these orders in the USA, Canada, and Europe. GrenadaMarket.com. When you can't come to the island, the products of the island will come to you.
Alrighty, folks, time now to wrap it up with Brian Pitt's Pit Stop from this past Friday morning. Let's check this out.
Yeah.
Okay, so Mr. Pitt, what time you departing for Dominica to cast your vote?
I already voted.
You have already voted?
You know, yes, you don't have to go there to vote, you know.
Oh, it's just in Grenada, you have to fly in to vote.
No. We are very sophisticated now, George. We have a carrier that will collect all the votes and bring it to Dominica and put it in a box.
Yeah, manual is always best.
We have to cut costs, George.
Yeah.
All these plane tickets are expensive.
Have you heard anything this morning about any reports out of Dominica this morning?
George, it's fascinating. I've been reading a lot of reports of people commenting on what's happening in Dominica, wishing that there would be no bloodshed. I read something on your site from the Windmills or the Caribbean Bar Association.
Yeah.
And I'm reading all these things, George, and I'm asking myself the question, how did we get here?
Yeah.
How did we get to this point where the people of Dominica are so frustrated that no reasonable voice now can stop that anger? How did we get here? Yeah, George?
You want me to answer that?
I'm not hearing. Pardon me?
I'm glad I asked that same question last night on MCQueen Chat, because I don't know whether or not you saw the statement issued by the Prime Minister of Dominica a couple of nights ago, where he told about all the terrible things that are happening in Dominica and how concerned he was. And I fully understand where he's coming from. But as I mentioned on the program last night, what jumped out at me, Brian, is that this man spoke for 20 minutes plus and never once hinted as to why it became necessary for him to have to deliver the type of address that he did. How did we get here?
And the powers that be in the region, George, and the enablers and organizations who are supposed to be providing checks and balances allowed this thing to get here. What I'm not hearing from all these groups that are now putting out all these reports is that how can we make elections in the Caribbean more transparent and fair? Yes, George?
Yes, sir.
If I'm not mistaken, elections have become very expensive in the Caribbean. And why is it expensive? It's expensive because we have to give away money. It's expensive because we have to bring in T-shirts from varying sources.
China.
It's expensive because we have to get entertainers from all over the world.
Buju Banton.
Yes. To impress the voters to vote for us. We have passed the stage, George, where we get into a debate with the opposition or parties who are running for office to talk about issues. As I recall in Grenada a few years ago, one party bluntly refused to take part in a debate to discuss topics. So elections have become very expensive because of the nature of elections. And I don't hear any of these voices talking about how are we supposed, or should we be able to control those people who are donating to elections? Should they be made accountable? Should we know who are donating to these elections and how much they are donating? Yes, George? Mm-hmm. We're talking about campaign reform. We've been talking about this for God knows how long. Because I need to know, George, given that there is no free lunch in this world, who is making contributions to varying political parties so that they can win an election? And
how much?
Yes, George?
Mm-hmm.
And I think we are disingenuous if we're talking about cool it down in Dominica, and we are not talking about how can we get to the bottom of who is contributing, and I'm not only talking about money, we're talking about container loads of goods. Yes? And that is a conversation we need to have, and maybe we need to have this at the CARICOM level. But then again, who is in charge of CARICOM? These same prime ministers who are now making elections as unfair as possible because they're in government and they can attract huge donations from varying sources. If I'm not mistaken, I hear in Dominica, somebody in Dominica suggested that, listen, this is not, this was a donation for a political campaign. Mm-hmm. Yes, George? So we're in a dangerous place, and I can understand the frustration of the people in Dominica. But by the way, justice denied is not good justice, right? But in a lot of cases, people cannot get a just reward through the court. In the case of Grenada, we're still trying to get a venue, George, so that we can have justice.
Yeah.
So people will be angry at judges, people will be angry at systems, people are just generally angry at everything. And that's frustration, George. It's hard to get a genie back in the bottle.
Let me ask you something. When you see what's happening in Dominica right now, does it concern you that we could possibly see the same here when our next cycle rolls around?
George, I looked at the release that the government of Grenada put out recently about this JAZEERA report. And they did an excellent production job of an overhead drone flying around.
Yes.
Taking some beautiful pictures.
Yes.
And somebody made a lot of money to put that video together. But the video did not, the message did not talk to what the problems are. It is true that there are people in the past of Grenada who held diplomatic passports and went to jail. Am I not right?
Yes, sir.
So what are you telling me? That everything is okay in Grenada? I don't think so, George. And elections are still very expensive to run.
You know, I'm glad you brought that part up about the drone, because last night when I was putting this morning's program together, I really intended to show that piece you're just talking about there. And when I went to pull it up here a few minutes ago, I realized that I really forgot, totally forgot. True confession, Brian, no lies. I forgot to program it. Okay, so I did not run it. But I'm glad that you mentioned the spectacular photography or videography that was done. I really am glad. It was just so pronounced. So.
When you look at that, George, you have to be impressed. As a matter of fact, I'm looking at this video and I'm thinking to myself, okay, this is not for me. This is for the rank and file of the party in power and the enablers. That is giving the enablers talking points, so that when they come on your show or any other show in the immediate future, or talking to me in a rum shop somewhere, or over a domino game somewhere, they have talking points. That was what that video was for. You know, it is frustrating, and I hope what has happened in Dominica doesn't manifest itself in Grenada. But I don't hear anybody talking about how we're going to correct the situation, how we're going to make the CBI program more transparent. We passed legislation to keep things secret, you know. Why did we pass a legislation to keep things secret? Because the people who are getting our passports don't want us to know that they have our passports? Come on. You know, there's a definite silence out there, George, that concerns me. So yes, I believe what has happened in Dominica can very well happen in Grenada sooner than later. As a matter of fact, George, the political class, not only in Grenada, but in the region right now, well, a lot of those people demonstrated against regimes like the Gary regime. Because of what they consider corrupt administrations. Yes? Now, gone are the days where a prime minister can lose an election or walk away from politics, as Eugenia Charles did in Dominica, without a fear of going to jail.
Yes.
George. So we have to stay in power.
Yeah.
And where this thing will end is anybody's guess, George.
The good thing, Brian, is that I think people are becoming more acutely aware. And I don't want to say the wool will no longer be pulled over their eyes, because, I mean, there are some people who, it's like an obsession. They know certain things are wrong, but because they get a little penny halfpenny on the side.
Yes, yes. They're benefiting.
Yeah.
They are benefiting, George, and there are a lot of people that are benefiting. Now, I hear a reference in the Grenada release to other countries having a CBI program. Like they mentioned the United States and Canada and the United Kingdom. But if I'm not mistaken, you have to work after receiving whatever that entrance is to get citizenship, you know. I think you have to be a landed immigrant in the case of Canada for a period of time. We have to assess whether or not, the Canadians have to assess whether or not you will make a good citizen before you're granted this status. So it is not true to suggest that they all have programs similar to ours. Yes, George?
Absolutely. But again, they're preaching to a certain crowd, Brian, people who are gullible and going to buy that.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. George, I was listening to your report on the GIS this morning and heard a conversation about the boats project.
Yeah. Okay.
Build, operate, lease, and transfer. And I wonder to myself, which friendly country is going to now control these very important national assets? York House, the Governor General's home, the police headquarters, and the prisons. I didn't hear them mention the prisons. Which country, friendly bilateral country, will now control these national heritage sites? And when they control them and they build them and supposedly lease them, when will we be able to pay them back for it? And it reminds me of a certain country who is building a lot of assets in Africa. And the world now understands that they now own some of these assets. We have very little else to sell, George. And this boat discussion concerns me. Yes, George?
I hear you.
Now, a lot of us are very silent about these issues, but yet still we find it necessary to put pen to paper for what is happening in Dominica. And I believe that some of these people should have some other things to talk about. Items like this. Now, I understand there's a certain country that is now controlling an entity in Grenada that was put there to build our nation, support sports and culture, and nation building. I believe at some point in time we will hear more about that.
Could you give us a little detail?
I believe that the reporters in this country should ask the powers that be who is now controlling the lotto.
The lotto. Okay.
Yes. You know, I think a lot of things are happening underneath our noses, George, and we're not paying attention. And maybe we're not paying attention because we are busy just trying to live. I was talking to a certain individual a few days ago and asked him a simple question. Do we know what the living wage is in Grenada? Do we know what it costs a person to live? And this person is an economist. This person at some point advised the government of Grenada. And they didn't see the relevance. What does it cost an individual to live? I think we should find that out pretty soon, George, because that frustration will manifest itself in some other area.
Joan,
sorry to bring you sad news.
Joan Wellington, he says here, these prime ministers just want to hold on to power and reign forever at any cost. And I wonder why elections are between two parties. Everyone has its supporters. Why can't they just vote for their chosen one, and whichever party wins has to look out for the whole nation, but not just for their voters?
It is absolutely important as we go forward, George, that we all know who is financing political campaigns and put a lid on how much people can contribute. Otherwise, other people who run our countries in this region who have no interest in the betterment of the people of the country.
You know something that came up on last night's debate on MCQueen Chat? This thing about people flying in to vote. The panel generally felt that it was unfair to have people who live abroad forever just come here for 2 days because they got a free ticket and some accommodation, a $1,000 check or whatever, to cast their vote and tell us how we should live. And then election day is gone, them gone too. And the panel generally felt last night that's not at all fair. What say you?
I believe that is ridiculous, to be quite honest with you. That is not fair at all and should not be allowed to happen. Should not be allowed to happen. And if there's a loophole in the law that allows that to happen, then all the local bar associations should make sure. You see, George, I am not only frustrated, I am disappointed in some of the lawyers that are visible and vocal in the local bar associations in this region that are not taking up, that are not championing the cause for transparent governance. Yes? You know, and this is an issue that needs to be attended to. And there is no reason why they can't be harmonious laws in the region, in the OECS in particular, to make sure that this does not happen in the future. But we need to harmonize these things. And sometimes I wonder why we have the OECS and why we have CARICOM if we cannot harmonize legislation so that governance becomes easier and more transparent.
All right, Mr. Pitt, let me try and shift gears here for just a minute. Are you aware that there's going to be a march today to observe Anti-Corruption Day?
No, I'm not aware.
Okay. I have been advised by the Integrity Commission, sir, and I showed this to Mr. Brzezinski yesterday. This morning, actually, it should be underway at about now. It was due to get started at 9:30 this morning down in Tantine and march along the Port Highway down to Queen's Park, but they changed it, and they're going to start at the Ariza building on Melville Street, just outside the tunnel there. The theme is, Together We Unite Against Corruption. Now, I don't know what sort of reaction I'm going to get from you, but yesterday when I read this to Mr. Brzezinski, he more than wet his diapers, I can assure you. Yeah, look at it. Office of the Integrity Commission. The Office of the Integrity Commission will be observing International Anti-Corruption Day, which is held annually on December 9th. This year, the Commission will be observing the said day through a week of events under the theme, Together We Unite Against Corruption. To this end, the Office of Integrity Commission is inviting you and your media house to send a representative to cover the following events. It starts with the Anti-Corruption March, beginning at 9:30. The march will be attended primarily by representatives from primary, secondary, and tertiary schools, as well as stakeholders of the Integrity Commission. You know, I think it would be very interesting. I just really wish I could take my camera and be down there to see the placards that these kids, based on this, placards that they're going to come up with. And I hope that they're not going to be influenced as to what the placards can say. Because kids today are pretty damn outspoken, right?
Well, George, you got me thinking now, you know. I mean, so it's the International Day of Corruption. And
International Anti-Corruption Day.
Anti-Corruption Day, okay. But corruption starts in most of these countries at the head. The rank and file worker in Grenada doesn't go into a job being corrupt. They practice corruption because they see it coming down, George. So it is normal now, for example, that if you go to a ministry to get something done, you might get it done a lot faster if maybe you can make a contribution to a lunch or a top-up. And that has become the norm. Why? Because they see people above them or people in the past acting in this manner. Now, it is interesting to see that the Integrity Commission is championing the cause of this approach to anti-corruption. But the Integrity Commission itself has some work to do in cutting out corruption.
Yeah.
They should be investigating a lot of matters that concerns family and friends getting opportunities because of the position of their spouses in Grenada, and whether or not there's a conflict of interest there, and whether or not there's corruption involved at that level.
Yeah.
Yes, George?
Yes, sir.
It's an interesting letter. I must put my hand on it during the course of the day.
Well, this was actually hand-delivered to me. Now, I see a note here on social media. Benedict Cador is asking, is it the 6th or the 9th? Which is a very good question, because this letter here gives, let me see, both dates. It says, observing International Anti-Corruption Day, which is held annually on December 9th. Further down, it says Anti-Corruption March on Friday, December 6th.
Okay.
Which is today. I'm also invited to a media reception on November 11th. That's got to be sometime next week. So I'm a little bit confused about this.
Well, there must be a week of celebration then.
Yeah.
And we choose to have the march today, Friday.
Yeah. Actually, last night I had somebody sitting here from Carriacou who came down to join that march today.
Okay, okay.
So I guess it's going to be today. Yeah. All right.
Let's see how it unfolds, George.
So since you hadn't heard about this, I guess you're not going to be participating, eh?
No. I have a bad leg.
You have what?
A bad leg.
You have a bad leg?
Yes, I hit my foot going down the step this morning.
Okay, hold on. Don't try this Grenadianese on me. You have a bad leg because you hit your foot?
Yeah, my leg, sorry. I hit my leg.
You hit your leg?
Yeah. Walking is difficult.
Okay. That's easier, I understand that.
Have a nice day, George.
You too, Mr. Pitt. Alrighty, folks, there you have it. That was Brian Pitt as he appeared here on Friday morning. Look, we're out of time, okay? He's gone over time again. I'm sorry. Forgive me. However, there's just there's several comments there, and for those of you who've not heard or seen them, I suggest you go take a look. But there's one that's really jumped out at me, and apparently this is coming from somebody in Dominica. Teresa Di Cotto. That's an interesting name. That's my landlady's name. Di Cotto. Teresa Di Cotto has just thrown something out here at us. I want you to stop and think about that this afternoon. George, what do you think of the idea of the opposition parties in Dominica, Grenada, and other similarly affected countries uniting to neutralize the boys' club called CARICOM? Yeah. You know, I'd really appreciate hearing a response to that from Patrick Antoine. Yeah? I'll try and check him out on that. Anyhow, folks, thank you very much. This is where we pull the curtain down on today's edition of Sundays with George Grant. As always, a parting word before we say bye-bye. Today, from the 37th Psalm, verses 3 and 4 says, trust in the Lord and do good. Dwell in the land and enjoy safe pasture. Take delight in the Lord, and He will give you the desires of your heart. What more could you ask for? What more? Psalm 37, verses 3 and 4. On that note, my dear friends, on that note, thanks a lot. We're going to assemble here again tomorrow morning. Do you realize we do it 6 days a week, 9 o'clock every morning? On Sundays, we go 9 to 12, 3 hours. But on weekdays, we just go 9 to 10. Join me tomorrow morning for the next edition of Good Day, Grenada. Yeah, and let's have some fun. Those who've been around here can tell you. Teresa, we hope to see you again. Thanks a lot, pilgrims, and God bless you.